very warm welcome. A big night ahead here at Wellington International for the $215,000 NetJets 4-star Grand Prix. Big jump-off Grand Prix in our traditional format, and it's a battle to be set tonight. And we're taking off with NetJets, our presenting sponsor. Even the most remote destinations are within reach. Simply choose where you'd like to depart, and NetJets gets you exactly where you need to be on time and with ease. Enjoy an impromptu getaway or fly NetJets to your favourite equestrian events. Escape anytime aboard the world's largest, most diverse private fleet. Discover more reasons to fly with a global leader at netjets.com. And our presenting sponsor of our streaming throughout the season as well, Dod Technologies, engineering extraordinary experiences since 1983. Discover how to elevate your sports, entertainment and corporate events at dodtechnologies.com. And our thanks to the USCF network. As always, our live stream is supported by the USCF, supporting sponsor of our live stream in part with support from the US Equestrian Federation and the USCF network as well. A very good evening and welcome to the NetJets Grand Prix here tonight. Carly Anthony alongside me, who's been part of winning teams here in Wellington as well for Team USA. Carly, it's got a great feel to tonight, and I feel we're really into the big Grand Prix now.
I'd say we're well into it. I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me. And I think Peter Grant has set some very interesting questions, subtle and not so subtle, so it'll be interesting to see how it turns out tonight.
We've got real depth in the field tonight as well. We'll come on to, we've got several previous winners in the class as well. This is a strong one from top to bottom, 44 riders in this.
Yeah, you have some Olympians, some Olympic pairings, some younger faces, some newer horses, so it's a good mix. It'll be interesting to see how it all kind of pans out in the end. My guess is 5 or 6 clear.
How much do you enjoy this early part of the season as well? As you say, you see some new faces in here. There is that little bit of excitement going, how are they going to go? I mean, a good example, Lily Keenan last week with Highway, who then just went straight in and won the Grand Prix.
Yeah, that's always a fun thing to see when you have an instant pairing. I mean, that's what we live for in the sport, is seeing the horse and rider combos, the relationships, and when something like that can happen so quickly, it's a real joy to watch. So hopefully we can see some of that tonight.
We certainly are going to see some of that tonight. So let's take a look at the few of the riders we picked out in the field as well, because as I say, a very, very strong field. And starting off with Christian Kukuk of Germany, the world number 3, the Olympic champion, last year's winner. Another previous winner in the field is Great Britain's Ben Mayer, the world number 4. Bertram Allen has been on fire this week, win after win for him, for the Irishman. Lily Keenan of the USA, as I mentioned, winning last week as well. And one to really watch in here is Marilyn Little, and she is definitely one to pick up some Grand Prix and could well be a big player here tonight. We're going to take a look at these in detail, Carly. The first one is Christian Kukuk. Now, Christian's first to go, but he was first to go last year as well. He was with Checker this time. Just Be Gentle this time around. What do you think?
He can go whenever he wants in the order, and you're never going to count him out. So I think to put him on this list of ones to watch tonight is definitely a fair, would never want to say safe bet, but he's a good one to have there.
He's going to be very strong in here with his Olympic champion Checker, as I say, with Just Be Gentle, and a new set of horses again here in Wellington this year. It's going to be very interesting to see the German Olympic champion in action here as well. Let's take a look at another previous winner, and he was top 3 here last year as well, was Ben Mayer, and the world number 4 and another Olympic champion, this time from Tokyo. You've worked alongside Ben. What do you think? Last year it was Dallas, Vegas, Batty. Tonight it's Anjou. What do we think?
I think he has a fair shot with Anjou tonight. It's been a good relationship that he's spent a bit of time kind of building, so it'll be interesting to see first night out here what he's gonna do. Came
out very strong, was finishing well in London and Geneva in the run up to this as well. But Wellington is always one where he then takes the handbrake off again.
Yeah, well, here in these jump-offs, you can't have a handbrake.
No, so. you've got to go, and he's the man to go. So from Ben Mayer, we are going to take a look at some of those others in there as well. Bertram Allen has been on fire this week with 2 wins for him already. He won the qualifier earlier on the same horse he's going to ride tonight, Eddie Blue, and also won the Speed 2. Hard to bet against him right now.
I'd say so. He came out guns a-blazing, so we'll see if he'll talk about no handbrakes. He's also one that there's full throttle.
And really interesting to see. First time he's ridden this horse, Eddie Blue, came straight out, went win in the qualifier, but he's such a talented rider. It will be really interesting to see tonight if he can pull off and go for the full triple of winning all 3 big classes. Lily Keenan was the winner in our National Grand Prix last week with a new ride for her with Highway. But Lily, here's a little from last week, is riding what she rates as her best horse in Faster tonight. What are your thoughts?
Lily's on fire. She had an exceptional year last year. She was just awarded the Whitney Stone Award for the USEF last week. She's definitely, I'd say, one of the top Americans in here to watch tonight, and when she goes for the win, she usually gets it.
And faster usually lives up to the name.
Normally, yes.
So from Lily Keenan, one more is Marilyn Little. Now, Marilyn was second in our Grand Prix here just a couple of weeks ago on week 1 with La Contessa. I think this is a little bit of a sleeper big challenger here tonight.
This is my favorite horse.
There we go. See, I picked a good one. What do you think?
It's a fantastic combination. These two, they've put the time in. They've gotten to know each other, and this mare has as much heart as Marilyn does fight. So it's a great combination, and if they go clear tonight, they're going to be tough to beat.
And the difference is here now with these Grand Prix, they go in reverse order of the qualifiers. So Bertram Allen will go last in here. But when we're looking at this group of riders, and this is just a handful of them, like I say, 44 in the field, you would say it doesn't really matter where they go.
It doesn't. Like you said, when Christian went first, he set the pace in the jump off, and no one could beat him. So I think it's just a matter of sticking to your plan, riding your jump off to what's going to suit your horse best, putting it all out there, and hope that was enough to secure the win.
Now, a little taster of what to expect. Peter Grant, as you say, is our course designer. We'll go into it in detail in a few minutes after the break as well. But my first thoughts on this, my first words on this course are, it's long.
Yeah, it's a marathon of a course, I'd say. Peter is putting in, I thought number 1 was just a very subtle entry point into the course. If you're not paying attention, I think that might come down quite a bit. But
we had that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think he's been watching and picking out the parts that I think he thinks would be fun to watch for tonight. But he does a very good job, very subtle. Some parts tonight I don't think look very subtle. They're very much in your face. I would say the length of the course, you're going to have horses thinking they're done after the Hermes Oxer, which I'm sure you'll go over later. And I think the flow of it is going to be great. Pick up a good canter, and you're going to have to try to keep it the whole way through. Well,
it's going to be one to test them, as it should do, for $215,000. NetJets, our thanks to them again, our sponsors here tonight. And we are looking forward to our upcoming Grand Prix. Delicacy, length, talent is going to take the best of the best to bring it home tonight. We're going to be back after a very short break to talk more in detail about tonight's NetJets Grand Prix. We're all set for takeoff here at Wellington International.
NetJets is more. And with NetJets, you get more. More exceptional service. Heightened safety standards. And anytime access to where you're needed most. Do more and miss less with NetJets.
Florida Coast Equipment understands the equestrian way of life, and everything you introduce into that life should be uniquely created to perform within it. So, we created the Kubota Winner Circle tractor package, designed exclusively for riders who expect uncompromising power, precision, and performance. Because every seasoned equestrian knows it has to be a Kubota.
And welcome back to Wellington International, part of a big night as well for the NetJets Grand Prix, but also honouring our first responders, military, police, so many being honoured here tonight as well. As you can see, it's lights. We're going to bring the cameras and the action as well into tonight's competition too. So we've got lots of excitement building up. Packed house once again here at Wellington in southern Florida. And we're looking forward to this. And to look forward to it even further, we've been catching up with some riders. Well, more specifically, Ali Wolf has been catching up with Lily Keenan. It's a very good evening to Ali.
That's right, Stephen. I'm down here with Lily. Lily, you've gone over this course. You are with a long-term partner in Fred. Take us through this course. Where do you think the tricky parts are?
I think that the hardest part of this course is the length. 14 jumps is not something you see all the time in a Grand Prix, especially you finish going away from home with a double vertical combination, which is always very delicate. And then the Oxter in that far corner of the ring. I think that's the biggest test tonight, really. I think horses will think they're done when they turn to the wall. I like that the course is really using all corners of the arena. We have such a big arena here, and actually the course designer took advantage of that, which is nice. And there's quite a few places that are time traps, so you really have to open the horse up and extend across the arena and then collect to a delicate combination or maybe a little bit of a tricky fence. So I think, you know, obviously it has to be hard enough. It's a 4-star Grand Prix for enough money, but there's nothing that's too gutsy.
And we've seen you've been on fire. You won the Grand Prix last week. Now, with Fred, though, he has not really been in this ring except for a small class, the last class being Geneva in an indoor. What is that transition like?
So Faster, I've had him for, this will be the 8th year that we're together, and obviously we know each other quite well. Geneva is a very large indoor, so it's actually almost like outdoor jumping. Usually the atmosphere pumps him up. I expect him to be quite fresh, which is good since it's a long course. And he's quite a strong horse, so some of these long runs I'm going to have to be really smart about making sure I allow him to gallop and make the time allowed, but I keep him a little bit under control, since at the end of the course I'm going to have to really use my rideability. And yeah, obviously experience is a huge advantage, so I'm really lucky that I have him tonight.
Super. Well, we wish you the best of luck with you and Fred. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Back to you, Stephen.
Lily, tonight's amazing field, as we mentioned, 44 fantastic combinations doing battle, and a little look towards the warm-up there for tonight's NetJets 4-star Grand Prix. And all of the wonderful lead-up to this event is now in its final stages. The Kubota tractor is just putting a little finishing touch to the arena as well. And it is, again, with a wonderful, excited, packed out melting pot of an arena that we look forward to tonight's 43 doing battle for the $215,000 as well. So we're going to take a look at the course, and our thanks to Fidelity Investments, who each week bring us our course animation too. Carly and I are going to take a little look at this. Carly, we've been talking about the length. Lily's been talking about the length, and the first fence you said was a tough one. Let's just follow this round. 1 to 2, a fair space here too.
Yeah, I'd say so. Keep your eye on the time here. Get a good rhythm to 1. Make sure you jump that clear. Head over to 2 to 3. Nice. What was that? 6 across the middle. Then there you have an option, 7 or 8. I think that 7's going to come up a little nicer to keep along with the time. Right around away from the outgate. 3 to a tall, skinny black vertical, and then a Liverpool after that, 5. You want to make sure you jump that clear also. Get over there for the time. And then this walked 9.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see 8 or 9s, depending on your horse.
You're going to be playing with some of these, aren't you?
Yep. Triple combination on the rail that always gives you some excitement. You don't really know what you're going to get with some of those horses. Again, another factor of time and endurance. Oxer across the middle, into the rail. And then again, like what Lily said, this last line here, the horses are going to think they're done.
Yeah, somebody said to me earlier, it's unusual to see a double at 13A and B, and you've got another fence to bring in here. This last line as well, you're going to be playing with your distance there too, depending on time.
I agree. So he gives you some room in some of the turns to really think about your time allowed, and in some of the other turns, you're going to have to think about how best to jump each of those fences clear.
Excellent. So moments away from getting started. I'd like to say not only Carly Anthony with me tonight, but also Niall Nassar is alongside as well, Egyptian Olympic rider and, of course, Grand Prix winner here in Wellington before now as well. Niall, very good evening to you. looking forward to tonight, as we always do, and we are just welcoming out a special guest onto the arena too. He's going to be bringing us out into tonight's, and joined by one of our veterans, I'm delighted to say, who's just heading out as part of tonight's salute to our military and all the serving forces, and as I say, sheriff's officers and all of those that have been involved with this tonight as well. A huge thank you to all of them, and coming up ready for what is going to be a wonderful night of competition. So moments away from our first. Niall, I'm going to grab you 2 words before we start of what your thoughts were on the course. How do you sum it up?
Peter Grant did a wonderful job here. It's a long course, like you guys mentioned. I have to say the dimensions aren't gigantic. You know, the fences are plenty imposing, but they're not huge. That being said, it's a long course with technical lines, a lot of width to some of these oxers, and he really used the positioning of some of these fences extremely well. I'm curious how this turns out tonight.
And I was talking to some of the riders walking the course and trainers. He's really used, and I'm going to use the word gradient, but there's a little bit of a doming on the arena because you have that for drainage, but he suddenly makes what's a really subtle rise in the ground. It suddenly starts to feel like a real rise, Niall.
Absolutely, yeah. This ring seems flat, but it actually does bow a little bit. So Peter has built plenty of Grand Prix in this ring before. I think he knows like how the undulation of the ring rides, and for sure he positions some of these jumps to take that into consideration tonight.
Well, first making their way down, and it is going to be Christian Kukuk to start us off, and we'll take the salute. Well, the salute going to Tony Avalo, one of our veterans here tonight, I'm delighted to say, to start off proceedings as part of Military and First Responders Night here in Wellington. So first out is Christian Kukuk, the Olympic champion, the world's number 3. Just Be Gentle having a little look around here for the horse he rode to a bronze at the European Championships in Spain last year. This mare by Tyson from the Beerbaum stables went very well indoors through the World Cups. And as we talked about, interestingly, now he's basically opted to go first, Niall, because he didn't jump the qualifier, but he's pre-qualified as Olympic champion, so he actually went, it's all right, I'll go first. He goes first by default. What's your thought?
Yeah, I'm glad you touched on that. It's interesting, you know, as obviously an Olympic gold medalist, he's pre-qualified for every Grand Prix this year. The thing is, here they seed the order for the Grand Prix based on the results from the WEF. So if you skip that qualifier, you're forcing yourself to go first, which puts you at a disadvantage, although you are an advantage because you didn't have to qualify in the first place. So it's this catch-22 where I was in the same position the first week because I'd won this Grand Prix. I decided, hey, I'm not going to jump the qualifier and save my horse, but then here you are, first to go, having to figure this out. Again, it shouldn't be a problem for Christian. He can go anywhere in the order, but let's see how this track turns out.
Carly, let's talk us through these first few fences. As you said, it's a good distance from 1 to 2.
Yeah, and I think he's being mindful of the time. Horse has a big enough stride, so all he has to do is just maybe think about the track, staying in.
Time allowed is 82 seconds, by the way. Plank pretty early on.
Yeah, he opted for the 7. I think that'll just present itself nicer than an outer 8. Gave confidence, a little looky there, but gave support.
Niall, what did you think?
Yeah, I think that's one of the trickier parts of the course. It's a very wide oxer with those mafia rails going away from the gate. And then you have 3 strides to delicate skinny with those fan standards that horses do look at. Christian did a great job managing that line. Here he comes through the triple. Oxer, vertical oxer. Usually if you come in well, you'll come out well. And then this is an interesting part of the course. You have this sweeping long gallop to the widest oxer on course across the middle. Almost feels like it's a bit of a break before you tackle this last part of the course, which is quite demanding. A long 4 after the wall right by the in-gate. And then a broken line here. I suspect to see like 8s or 9s to this double of verticals, really delicate. And then he opts for the add to the last. Beautiful.
Superb round, exactly what we'd expect from the Olympic champion. Time of 77.88. Christian Kukuk going clear with Just Be Gentle. Carly, he had time in hand.
Yeah, I think going first for him suits him.
You don't say.
Yeah, he makes it look easy, so it'll be interesting. I think the time might not be as tight as do you think walking the course and seeing all those open places to waste a bit of time, but he didn't waste any time. So if you take his round for granted, you might end up with some time faults tonight based on how smooth he made that look.
Well, the Olympic champion going clear defends his title here for the NetJets Grand Prix, 77.88. Mimi Gotchman now, and with Lumiere BH. Newer ride for her since the middle of last year. Actually, former rider Bertram Allen, who comes up a little later on. And this is a pair making the move up now on this 10-year-old Dutch-bred gelding. Went well in Toronto. She was second herself in the Hampton Classic Grand Prix last season, won in Upperville too. And Niall, a horse with a little less experience at this level, young rider here, but she got plenty of time under the lights last year.
Yeah, and I think I remember her jumping clear in the first Grand Prix here,
she
maybe.
did.
Yeah, so, even though this is probably their first season stepping up to these big Grand Prix together, it's definitely off to a great start. Again, this is a 4-star as opposed to week 1's 3-star, so again, a little step up, but she's handling this course really well right now and just unfortunately gets a little deep into that Liverpool vertical and toes it.
Carly, let's talk down this NetJets triple combination coming down there.
Yeah,
Triple to
she
triple.
opted for the 8 there where Christian took 9. Suits that horse better. Didn't seem to mind the leave out. And she just has a nice, she picked up a great canter to 1 and she's just kept it the whole way through. So I think as we keep watching, we'll see, based on how this canter looks, what the time will end up being, but I feel like she should be good on the time as well.
We'll be very interested to see, Niall, as you guys were just saying. I mean, you feel you can drop into a pace here and stay on that pace? Is that the right way of putting it?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I mean, besides jumps 5, 6, and 7 that are all, pretty related on a relatively shorter number of strides, everything is pretty open. You have a lot of room between these jumps. You have, good space to get to them. She picks up a couple rails tonight, but stays inside the time allowed. Again, for a partnership that's new to this level, I think that's a very positive round that they can build on.
Carly, you're nodding.
I agree. Nothing but great advice and thoughts. I agree.
She did have that. Okay.
The fan fence there, the Tokyo fence, and I don't want to hark back to the one from a few weeks ago. It's a very, very different look to it now. Little skinny there. I noticed when walking the course, there's a lot of delicacy, and walking down a couple of those lines, you walk down the triple combination, it whether optically or physically, it looked like the middle part was higher than the rest. What did you guys think?
I think the middle line, 5, 6, 7, is going to be one of the harder lines on course tonight, as we've seen. Each part presents its own obstacle. I think that Oxer gets you a little away from the outgate open. You've got to really commit to that 3, keep them in hand so they can really push off the ground to clear the skinny black vertical, and then they have a Liverpool set back a little bit to solid white poles. I mean, that each jump in and of itself is a question set within such a short time.
Grant Sager on course now, and Grant with long-time partner in Frida, this fabulous 14-year-old mare. This horse had some time off, coming back into last year. He's based up in Aiken, and a good start here, Niall. Just has to really, was really trying to hold that line.
Yeah, exactly. This is an unusual line because in such a big ring, you wouldn't expect to see a 3-stride line. And then with those Mafia rails, a very wide spread away from the gate. I thought those 3 strides walked a little bit long. And then so you step up, you kind of have to ride flat into the skinny, and then you're met with a really short 5 strides to an offset Liverpool. So it's a challenge for sure.
I should qualify the Mafia rails. They look like a pinstripe.
Pinstripe. Sorry.
That's
yeah. Sometimes we use some lingo that
that's
everyone will
the
understand.
lingo we use, but just for the viewers at home. Carly, this line here, coming to the MSN, but you turn back to the wall, you are looking back at the entrance, aren't you?
Yeah, well, he has you lengthen down to that single oxer after the triple combination, just gets you at the end of your stride, if you're not careful, into that short turn. And that short turn, naturally, I mean, we ride it every day, so you get the feel, but now you've slowed down out of that turn to a tall, very tall and
imposing.
Bold and imposing wall. You've got to make sure then do a forward 4. So he lures you into that oxer to set you up for a bit past your distance, you'd say, to that wall.
And here coming into the triple combination, like I said, the middle looks a very tall vertical in there. Grant, good to see this combination getting back into these big classes though, and again, that takes a little bit of coming back in, doesn't it, Carly?
Yes, it does. I mean, it's just early enough in the season, and these nights like this are great to kind of get back into the rhythm.
Michael Morrissey now and Ash Atkinson's Incento SA, the now 13-year-old Dutch-bred gelding by Card End. So pairing that 2 seasons ago were top 3 in the American Gold Cup as well. And it's a pair they've been really working together over the last few seasons to develop through to this top level. And they've got some pretty consistent results, Niall.
They have, yeah. This partnership seems to be growing by the year. It is a rather big striding horse, so I'm interested to see how he handles some of these shorter distances, especially the skinny to the Liverpool that we've already seen cause some problems. We talked about the approach to the triple combination. Carly said it's either an 8 or a 9. That's really a track line. You know, if you end up on the inside, you'll be on 8. If you end up on the outside, you'll be on 9. If you kind of end up halfway in between, though, you could end up on the half stride and getting too deep in there.
And talking numbers in there, we'll follow this round. But because of the time allowed, it looks though you've got that breathing space to maybe go some of the bigger numbers as well, Niall.
Yeah, you're right. The time is definitely manageable. On a slower moving horse like this, though, you do have to stay very mindful of your track. You see how he just rounds right behind that Oxford, doesn't waste any time, gets a beautiful jump, steps up a little bit into 3, and there you go, just drops the shoulder a little bit, and then has to work to fit that 5 in.
Carly, how much of that line is the problem of the middle part, the skinny, or the fact you're trying to just get that little tight squeeze down there?
It's all put together. I thought he rode in at 5 beautifully, and then the horse just didn't have enough push off, because I think he was also anticipating that 5 was going to be quite short. So on a horse like what Niall said, with a bigger stride, you have to really make sure you get that 5 done, and maybe he just was thinking about that 5 a bit early, and the horse just cut down. But I thought he rode in beautifully. It was a shame.
Just on the 4 at the moment for Michael Morrissey and Incento SA.
I'm curious if he makes the time allowed. This does look a little bit deliberate everywhere. He's having to manage this horse's big step.
He's not going to.
No.
But he does the leave out to the last.
Actually a solid round.
Yeah, solid round, 84.60, 4 jumping 3 time for Michael Morrissey and Incento SA. But Niall, as you're saying, a lot of that is managing that horse's talent.
Yeah, Michael's doing a great job. I mean, that's a 4-fault round in a big Grand Prix where really, he didn't make any real riding errors. That's the tough part about this sport is sometimes you can really do your job well and still end up with a slightly disappointing score. But if you look at the overall picture, that was a really complete round. Sure, maybe a hair slow, picked up a couple time faults, but that was really just a cheap 4-fault round. You should be pleased with that.
Carlos Sancarero now of Mexico and the H5 Sport Horses, H5 Orangey Horta for the 12-year-old gelding by Casanova de la Pompe. He won a Grand Prix up in Ocala last season. He's been through to Olympic Games, and this pairing last out in Prague last year at the big indoors there. They were part of the major shows last summer as well over in Europe, including Brussels and on the Global Champions Tour as well. Carly, he's put a lot of mileage in now, hasn't he?
He has, and I love this combination. It's a great match. They suit each other very well. He knows this horse very well, and he has been able to really produce some good results with this horse so far. Now it'll be interesting to see how he rides this based on how his horse goes. That was very beautifully ridden.
But he was just nice and quiet down there, wasn't he?
And let's see what he opts for here. Opted for the 9. Gave his horse a bit of time and a bit of room at B, as you know, that's the taller vertical, so that he also can then help push out at C.
A little further at the Ox than you say. You just could be able to set up for this.
I don't know, Niall, what do you think on the time here?
I was just going to say, you took the words right out of my mouth.
I mean, he's doing it beautifully.
This is a wonderful round. I really hope he manages to squeeze inside the time here. The horse is pretty economical over the fences.
82 the time. He should just do it.
He's okay.
Come on, go get it.
Yeah, he's going to. Awesome. 80.74. So Carlos Sancarero gives us the second of the clear rounds. Niall, going back to what you and I were saying earlier, there's space in here.
Yeah, I thought that was beautifully ridden. Almost felt like an equitation round. Carlos knows this horse inside out. He's relied on him a lot for Global Champions Tour and some of the big events in Europe last summer. So you can tell it's a real partnership. He knows exactly what the horse needs, how to help him. Carlos is a tall guy, so he has to be very aware of his body position, and I thought he did that wonderfully during that exhibition right there.
Second clear round of this NetJets Grand Prix so far. Christian Kukuk and Carlos Guerrero giving us the 2 zeros for now. Very early stages, 5 gone. We'll focus in on the next of the international riders. This one for Great Britain in Jessica Mendoza and the mare In the Air. This is a pairing that went so well at the European Championships last year in Spain as well, finishing into 11th spot individually. Won the Hampton Classic Grand Prix, and that was back in September. Won a number of classes, several classes in Geneva just before Christmas too. Carly, I mean, she's one she's watched quite a few times, and a really interesting pair that just keep getting better and better.
Better and better, I agree. And she's taken her time to really get to know this horse. It has a bit of a funny way of jumping, a little flat shifts sometimes, and she has learned how to ride it exactly how it needs to. That was a shame, because I thought she made a very good ride into that 5, giving it the space it needed. Sometimes you just need a little luck then also to finish the job.
She looked there at the triples, they were just cutting in at that.
Yeah, but managed to make that triple combo very nice. But I think the pair together suit each other very well, and like I said, she's figured out how to push all the right buttons to get the horse to do exactly what it needs to do. And I thought she rode that very well. Efficient back to that wall, which made the 4 ride a lot nicer than ever. It seems to be this riding quite forward.
Final fence coming up, should be just about okay for time, might just be the edge of it, and so just picks up the 2 time there. 12 jumping 2 time for Jess Mendoza, and In the Air. Down on the floor is Ali Wolf with the man who gave us the first of our clears.
Hey Stephen, yes, I'm down here with Christian Kukuk. The first one in and the first one clear, you made that look super easy. We're now seeing faults. How did that course ride for you?
Super easy, I don't know. I think I had rounds where they felt a little bit easier, but I expected that a little bit. My horse is very sharp and sensitive, and it's the first time under the lights here for a long time. She was a bit off in the last week, so I saw that a bit coming. Actually, I must say I had still quite a good feeling around. I didn't like my decision to number 5, that Oxa away from the in-gate. I overrode that one, and I asked her too early actually to go. I should have added a stride there. That made her actually even more sharp, I would say. So that I really had to put my leg on all around. But I must say, until the end, the last line, she finished very, very well, and I'm happy.
Well, it looked amazing, and we wish you the best of luck in the jump off. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Christian
Back to you,
Kukuk,
Stephen.
as we go to Simon Isri out on course at the moment, the Mexican rider with Baluton PS, and this one by Balubé de Rey, former rider Gregory Watherley of Europe as well, and again, really bends out the line there, Carly.
Yeah, I mean, first it's great to see Simon back at WEF jumping under the lights. I watched this one jump the WEF. It's a fairly new partnership, but they seem to suit each other well, and the horse jumped fantastic. Beautifully ridden line. I thought here jumped that very well, and then tight over here to the triple bar.
I can't imagine this horse has tons of experience under the lights,
No.
Carly. Yeah.
Yep.
It looks like Simon's just nursing him around, trying to give him good experience. Definitely a little slow, probably not going to make the time allowed tonight, but it seemed intentional. You know, I think this horse probably getting under the lights for the first time, doesn't have a ton of experience. Simon's just trying to give him, you know, a good round to build on for the rest of circuit, and he's doing a wonderful job of that tonight, even though you know, he won't really scratch the surface in terms of time allowed.
And Niall, 11-year-old by the great Balubé de Rey, what do you think of the horse?
I love it. I saw it go in the WEF, and I thought it did some extraordinary things. You can see it tonight too. It's maybe a little impressed. Sometimes it's stalling a little bit off the ground, but then somehow managing to still find power for the back rail like it does there. This is an extremely exciting horse for Simon, I'm sure. Few time faults tonight, but really played with the dimensions of this course here. So I think Simon's going to, you know, be really pleased with that, and hopefully we'll get to see it again and watch it continue to grow and evolve throughout the circuit.
Yeah, just finishes on the time faults in the end, jumps clear over the fences, but 6th time there, 87.72 for Simon Isri and Baluton PS. Carly, your thoughts?
it's a very nice horse with a bright future, and I thought he did a great job putting the miles on to keep growing.
Excellent. Taking the salute then is Fernando Parkin Delfin now of Next to Go for Mexico, and then Javier Alfonso France's Cadet SDN, a rider who seamlessly moves between show jumping and eventing as well. He was part of eventing in Pan Am's and recently as well, competing out in the cross country too. Pairings have been together since January of last year. Former ride of Patrick Stuhlmeier of Germany, and will be really interesting to see here this gelding by London. And Niall, first few fences behind them, what do we think?
So far, so good. I have to say I'm not quite familiar with Fernando.
No.
It's great to see new faces down here at WEF, especially in these big Grand Prix. He must have had a reasonably good qualifier. Oh, and just gets the distance wrong, and it all starts to go awry there. Yeah, that's unfortunate. You know, that's a really big oxer that you need to meet with a lot of positivity. You have to be riding the horse forward there. It just looked like, you know, he came out of the corner, and that distance that you're looking for didn't quite show up. Again, with it being a related line, then, you know, it ends up just discombobulating everything for, you know, for the skinny there. He makes a circle, puts it all back together, and now he's well on his way to kind of putting the finishing touches on this round here.
Yeah, I'd say it looks like he was trying to stay within keeping the time allowed in mind, and then just got a little rushed and it came up quickly.
And that turns almost blind because you have that oxer that you have to swoop around that does break your vision of obstacle 5. So as you're coming around the corner there, you almost have to trust that you know, you can just keep your rhythm and something's going to show up out of the turn. But if you look too early and your line of sight gets interrupted by that jump, then you know, you're kind of stuck riding, you know, on a blindish distance.
You gotta have a lot of trust for that.
A lot of trust. And you need a horse that can clock onto the jump for you. You know, if they're experienced and they come out of the turns looking for the fences, it makes your job a lot easier as a rider because you feel like the horse already knows where he's going. I could just focus on getting him over the fence.
And we talk a lot about getting into the lights here and getting that experience. This would be one of their first times, if not first time, here tonight. It does make a massive difference. I know we harp on about it, but it does make a difference for exactly what you're saying there, Niall.
Totally. These horses need the miles, you know. It's very rare to have a horse that can show up in this atmosphere and go around like he does at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So, you know, you can see, he comes out of the corner and tries to do the leave out, but it just wasn't quite there. Ends up fitting the extra stride in and having to you know, reorganize.
Exactly, getting into a tight line there was nowhere to go. This man always has somewhere to go, and it's usually to the top of the leaderboard because he's a previous winner of this NetJets Grand Prix, finished close in our top few lights, back second last year as well. He's a twice previous winner of this Grand Prix. This is Charlotte Rosser and Pamela Wright's Anjou de Grecien for the world number 4, and Tokyo Olympic champion Ben Mayer, this French-bred gelding by Toulon. And an amazing end to the season last year for the British team as well, of course, which Ben was a big part of. Carly, this is where you would hope they would shine again.
Of course. I think he has the horse is jumping beautifully tonight. Beautiful track over here to 5. Keeps him in hand, gives him an opportunity to jump that clear. And again, fights to get that 5 done. I think he's well on his way to be within the time allowed. He has a great line. He looks committed, and the horse is jumping fantastic. For me, I find that whenever they put the triple combinations on the rail like that, it's always quite jarring. They back away from the bright lights of the wall. Now they have the wall lit up. It didn't used to be, and I feel like that also just makes the line ride a little extra difficult, especially with the way he has the triple bar set up as well.
You've got to be alert.
Yeah. Wow. Too bad, huh? It looks like he just stuck a little bit off of that Liverpool.
Oh, that was unfortunate. He's putting together a beautiful round, typical Ben textbook round, and the horse just climbs the front rail and comes down on the back rail right by the in-gate there. That's unfortunate.
I agree. I thought he rode the line well enough.
Really
Gave him
well.
The opportunity.
Yeah. It's a horse with a big stride, so you'd think that long 4 would suit him. You know, he managed to step up there nicely, and Anjou just misread that. It looked like he just went too high and not across enough.
Just finishes on the 4 there for Ben Mayer, and a little look back here, Carly.
Here it is.
Yeah,
like
that's when you just need a little extra cluck and some luck.
I like that, cluck and luck.
Cluck and luck. Well, it was still a super round, as you say, beautifully put together by Ben. Now to Germany once again, and a new face into Wellington this year in these classes, Simon Widman and Carola Delfer. Another one wouldn't have the mileage underneath the lights, but again, good experienced rider back in Europe as well with the mare by Classic Bois Margot. Has performed superbly in Grand Prix under the lights in other places around the world, including Doha and the GCT last year as well. Jumped round clear and 4 in the big Grand Prix there, so has certainly got some form. This is Niall, where we sort of get into unknown territory of riders that we haven't seen in these grounds, because they can be quite unique, can't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's great. You know, this circuit is one of the premier winter circuits that is starting to attract people from all over the world. You know, we've seen that for multiple seasons. We're used to seeing the same European faces, so when we get, you know, a new European face here with a new, you know, string of horses that we don't get the opportunity to watch very much, it just makes it more interesting. I think this is his second Grand Prix under the lights this circuit. He jumped week 1. Overall, I think he had a pretty positive experience, if I remember correctly, maybe a rail or two. Seems like a seasoned partnership. This horse is 12, should have the miles necessary to not be too impressed by this atmosphere. But again, it's kind of becoming Heartbreak Alley here, right in the middle of the course.
Why is that? I'm going to throw that to both of you, but Niall first.
I mean, for the reasons we discussed, you know, the pinstripe oxer out of the corner forces the horses to stretch a little bit. They maybe land a little shallow into that line, which makes the 3 long. You don't want to be riding at that skinny. You want to be able to hold them. And then whenever you're coming from a kind of loose forward distance, the next jump is always going to ride tighter and come to you quicker than you expect. So it's actually a masterfully built line. It's still early enough in the course, so you'd think the horses would be a little sharper. But that offset Liverpool also just seems to be throwing the horses for a loop. They're not quite able to judge it well enough. He's disappointed with that.
Just on the 4, 79.59 for Simon Widman and Carola Delfer. And for them, let's take another look down Heartbreak Alley here. Carly, what do we think?
I mean, he tried. You got to give him A for effort on trying there.
Yeah.
And I agree. I mean, with the false ground line on the Liverpool, that just gets them to look down a little bit extra. And if you get there without that leg-to-hand connection, a little bit of room, a little bit of extra push off the ground, you run the risk of having what we just saw happen. I mean, we're starting to see, in my opinion, Peter's really testing your accordion. How smoothly can you go forward, come back, keep that connection, and have it look like Carlos Henk and Christian Kukuk did, look almost like you said, Niall, like a equitation round.
Effortless.
Effortless.
Yeah.
25-year-old Delaney Flynn now, and Delaney with Cassinia for the Windsor Show Stables, the McRae family. Finished well in the Ottawa Grand Prix, or out on the turf last year up there in Canada, and now transferring it under the light. She's been here before, and Carly's probably one you've seen probably more as well.
Yeah, Delaney has definitely put in the work, especially with this horse. She's built up a great relationship with it, so she knows this horse inside and out. Even when you have a cross cantering to number 2 like she did, she trusted it, kept going forward, and managed to get out of that just beautifully. It's a shame. This line is really going to make or break it for most people. But I'd say, I don't know, she's doing pretty good here. Nice and straight, sets her up nicely. Tall, nice little rub at B, but manages to jump it clear. What do you think now on the time? I think she's being efficient enough.
Yeah, I think this horse is deceptively fast. It stays close to the ground. Once you have an early rail like that too, it's hard. You know, do you continue to just nurse the round and keep it on 4, or do you try to be fast so you can be a fast 4 faulter but risk having another rail? It is a tricky position to be in. I think she's going to be just okay, or maybe just out.
Just trying to get a gauge of a time that they need coming into this line. She was around about 74 long. She's okay. 80.25 just on the one down for Delaney Flynn and
That's
Cassinia.
too bad. I thought she rode that beautifully,
beautiful.
and a bit unlucky at the black vertical there.
Yeah.
Very nicely done for Delaney Flynn, but just on the fall. But it does feel that type of course, Niall, to throw it to you, that it would just be very easy to have a rail here.
Yeah, and she actually nailed this. You know, I think because that 3 is a bit long, you want to catch the Oxer before it with a lot of momentum so that you can land far away from the back rail and make that distance a little shorter. So you can slow down in the 3, which then makes it easier to slow down in the next 5. And she came around that corner really well. Found a very positive forward distance, got a good swing over that Oxer, but then it's almost a catch-22. Then it looks like the horse actually just got a little flat and jumped at that vertical instead of really being able to compress itself and ping off of the floor.
Spain's Francisco Goaga Molet now. Paco with the Sigma Stables PST Dumuse is the mare by Vigor a rider who comes from a long line of top show jumpers in his family, going back to 4th generation as he is. Both great-grandfather, grandfather, who was a brilliant man in the saddle, world champion in fact, and he's continuing as one of the top horsemen here as well, has been based here in the United States for quite some time now. Carly, what do you make of his talent?
Oh, he's a very, very good rider, up and coming, and I would say he's also, like Delaney, he's put in the work. He's been here a few years now, and I mean, now he's getting the opportunity to ride at this level, which I think he's earned and deserved.
Yep.
Hopefully he can show off how to ride this line tonight. Let's see. It's killing me. Niall, I have a question for you. So you beautifully explained how to ride that line, but knowing that the time's not that tight, then would you stay out an extra stride after that plank to keep the rhythm?
I probably would. Yeah, I think you're right. And just to give the horses a little more time out of that corner, because if you just hug that standard like he did, all of a sudden they're met with this imposing Oxer that they have to try hard at, and then you're met with 2 really delicate verticals that, I think if you're able to just give yourself a little bit more time in that corner, you might just, increase your likelihood of jumping that line clear. And I wonder if we'll see that adjustment from the riders as this class goes on.
Otherwise, I think he's putting in a great round.
Paco's a fantastic rider. Yeah, and
great
this
feel.
This has been a really strong partnership with some really strong Grand Prix results last season. Probably one of the first outings this year, so knocking a bit of rust off.
Well, just knocks off, unfortunately, that WeatherTech fence, as so many have done so far. Couple down for them overall, here into the NetJets triple combination. And like I said, it just feels very tall in the middle of there, Carly.
I agree, and it looks like he just shifted a little right there, so just probably lost a little bit of balance, and it's a matter of inches,
Even smaller, I would say. Marilyn Little to go now. Marilyn with her own La Contessa with his fabulous mare by license. Finished 2nd in the Grand Prix on week 1 as well. Won the Grand Prix in Canada last year on the Winning Nations Cup team. She surpassed top eventer as well. She was gold, the champion of the Pan Am Games previously, but has certainly turned her hand brilliantly to Grand Prix riding, and is a real secret weapon in many of these Grand Prix. And you said a little earlier, Carly, this is your favourite horse too in here.
Oh, this is a very special mare, and they've definitely, Marilyn's put the time in and built that relationship, because with a good mare you need to put in that time, and it's definitely shown, and it's one of my favorite pairs to watch.
Why?
You can just see it. The mare's a fighter. Marilyn's gritty. She gets it done. That's too bad, but she's committed to that. Not her night tonight, but you're going to see that she's going to continue riding each step. We're going to watch how she rides this line. A little forward end of the 3. Comes back in the 5 nicely. Man, Niall, that line is just
It's a killer.
Brutal.
It's a killer. I mean, when I walked it, I thought this is really unusual for how big a ring you have to have a 3-stride line, and then those white rails with the offset Liverpool on a short distance. It's really causing trouble tonight. This is a very uncharacteristic round from this pair, though. I think this horse jumped incredibly consistently last season throughout 5-star circuit. Just got off to a rough start, ended up on a bit of a half stride to number 3, and didn't quite recover from that. Marilyn is a gritty, tough, incredibly talented rider, so she'll dissect that, figure out what went wrong, and I'm sure we'll see this pair on the podium again over the next 10 weeks or so.
Yeah, that's a shame, but as you say, very good pairing we'll see more of. They've already got one very good result behind them this season. There'll be many more to come. to our next now, and it's Katie Dine. And Katie's actually a past winner of this Grand Prix as well. There's several former winners in the field here, including Katie there. She actually won it in 2012 on Lugar de Valais, which we'll probably talk about in just a few moments. Ben Mayer, of course. Ken Farrington's past winner of this 2021. Georgina Bloomberg, 2015. Ben Mayer, 2023. Christian Kukuk, 2025, last year's winner. But Katie here with Cordani PS, former ride of André Thiemer of Germany, the man who rode to European Championship win in 2021. This one by Belus de Raventon, which was a very impressive stallion indeed as well. Katie was top 10 at the World Cup finals. But this, Carly's, they're going into their first 4-star together, moving up here. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a great match. Obviously, the horse has a great record, as does Katie. So I think it's going to be a good first under the lights for them, and to start building that relationship together.
Right, you two, talk me through it.
Yeah, I'd say more of a fact-finding mission for Katie here. New partnership, probably first time jumping under the lights, or at least at this level. Does a great job so far in this line. Excellent.
She got it done.
Yeah, she does seem a bit slow to me. I hope she picks up the pace here because of how well this horse is jumping. Yes, it's your first time in. You just want to get a good experience, but when you're leaving the jumps up, you might as well try to speed up and make the time allowed too.
Yeah, she got the 8 done, so she stayed on the inside track for that.
That's one less try. That'll help. Just doesn't quite make a big move up here across the middle. Yeah, I'm not quite sure this is going to make the time, but again, I don't think that's one of Katie's priorities tonight. It's just getting to know this horse, give it a good experience, learn some of the buttons that you need to press. Here she has to step up for this 4. Excellent.
What did you say, Stephen? Where do we have to be on the time?
I would say she's probably almost okay. She's going to be very
Get to
close
7.
to it, but
Get
she's
to
going to
7.
be
Come on,
just
Katie.
about
There you go.
okay.
Oh, get in there.
By the
Well
looks of it,
done.
Awesome.
yep. 80.73.
Look at that smile.
Third of the clears. It got very close in there, Carly. There was some few rubs in there, but they got away with it.
That's what I'm talking about. The luck is all you need, but I thought she rode that beautifully.
Look at this plank wobble in the cups here. Oh,
Wow.
and those are on flat cups too. You don't usually get away with a rub like that, but when you do, it usually means it's your night. Here's a little touch on the front rail.
But she fought for it. This
She sure
line, she
did.
rode very, very well.
Very
she
well.
got that 5 done. She was committed to getting that
Especially
done.
on a horse you don't know very
Yeah.
well. You know, that's hard to judge there. She did an excellent job. Well done, Katie.
Those are the clears so far. Christian Kukuk, Carlos Sancarero and Katie Dine, as we see Germany, Mexico and USA. Peter Lutz now of the USA won the Southern Arches Grand Prix last week out on the field. This is Loftus Tuteri's Catriona horse that he's ridden through this young horse element of this back to a 6-year-old, and now the 11-year-old Catriona, the mare by Cannon for Peter. And for those who watched the Grand Prix last week, it was a breezy day, not the easiest of conditions. Niall is smiling and nodding his head. They did a great job.
They sure did, and their jump off was one for the ages. I mean, it was one of those rounds where you knew the class was over as soon as it happened. They have a really strong partnership, like you said, Stephen. Peter has developed this horse for a long time. Horse has tons of engine, tons of jump. It does have a lot of stride though, so he's going to have to manage this part of the course. You see how well controlled he was in his upper body there. As soon as he landed from the skinny, he started to make room for that 5 strides.
You'd love to see another American join the jump-off list. Well, I would.
Does the 9 into the triple, but rides a brilliant track, so he doesn't really have to slow down all that much. Keeps the power in the horse. Makes light work of that oxer. Now he just needs to bring it home.
Still feels a long way from home at this point of this long course for this NetJets Grand Prix.
This double of verticals hasn't caused as much trouble as we expected.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's the same for Peter. Come on, get up here.
He's going to be a little bit close on the time. He might just squeak it, but he's going to be close. He's going
Steps
to
up there.
last fence goes down. 82.09. Just
What
over
a
it though.
time fault.
Wow.
With the one-time fault there. I'm going to go down to Ali, who's with Ben Mayer.
Yes, we're down here with Ben Mayer. Ben, what an amazing round. What a heartbreak right at the end of the course. Can you just talk us through what you think may have happened there?
Yeah, undue. He knows this ring well. He jumped well, pretty comfortable everywhere, and then I come quite short to the wall just for the time allowed, and he jumped a little to the right. I did a bit of an overcorrection there. and he just come off of the water tray, jumped a little high and didn't reach. Maybe I should have just ridden up a little bit more to the front rail, but he jumped good. It's early in the season, and there's plenty more classes to come.
Just like what you said, plenty of classes, and I'm sure we'll see you in the top of some of them. Thank you so much. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Ben Mayer there, happy enough. Would have obviously liked to have gone clear, but as he said, plenty of classes to come here through the season as well. We go on to Natalie Dean now, and Pedro van der Barlibus for Natalie and the Marigold Sport Horses. Again, new ride for her, was jumped with Mariana Chavez to jump well in Monaco last season, since September of last year. This pairing been in action. I haven't seen much of this pair yet. Have either of you two?
A little, yeah. I
have, little,
yeah. It's a relatively new partnership too, but they seem to be getting along great. Natalie speaks really highly of this horse. She says it's one of the better ones she's had throughout her career. Looks like it's playing around a little bit today. Maybe she tried a new back boot or something, or he's just excited with this atmosphere. But it is a brilliant jumper. Jumped clear in the Monaco Grand Prix with Mariana Chavez last year, after which it changed hands and Natalie acquired the horse.
Looked like she got a little lucky in that line rubs at 6 and 7, but
so
like we
far,
said,
yeah.
so far so good. Another rub there, but
little stretch coming out. She's just gonna have to rebalance the horse a little bit here. She's taking the first distance up there. Another big stretch. She's definitely on top of it for time allowed. She does go all the way out to the rail of the ring here. Just wants to get nice and straight. It's a big jump that should suit the 4. Really well ridden.
I'd say that was one of the better four stride lines we've seen so far.
Just hung the leg there.
Yeah, it was good. I was about to say it's good for time, but just hung a leg coming out. And so it's going to be on the 4, 80.50. Had just enough to squeak in there. Goes into 7th at the moment on the 4 there for Natalie Dean and Pedro van der Barlibus. Carly, quick summation of this new partnership?
I think that was beautifully ridden, especially since she's just getting to know him. Probably the first night under the lights. All in all, I think a lot of good things to take away from tonight, and maybe one thing to work on. But I think overall, a great start to the Saturday Night Lights with this horse and this pair.
3 clears so far. Christian Kukuk, Katie Dinan and Carlos Sancarero into this NetJets Grand Prix so far. Just seeing them down the final line. That, as you said, just hung a leg coming out of the double at 13. And that just costing them 4 in the end. Just squeaked inside the time, all right. Picked up nicely at the last, but left them on the 4. Michael Hughes now of the USA, and Carolina Oresu's Dom Perignon is the gelding by Quintus. Again, pairing been together since a similar time to Natalie and her ride since September last year. Formerly Argentinian ridden ride. Carly?
Already a little different approach off the left lead to 1. The horse probably favors the left lead and gives a better jump, or has a shift where he feels like he could hold it better and a little straighter. Let's see, it's a little bit of a slower mover, so he's got to be mindful of the time here. But a bigger stride should probably help with this 3 stride here. And then you just have to be mindful in getting that 5 done with a little bit of room. He's trying, fitting it in. It's just
nearly.
It's too bad. Just got a little flat there. Now I think too, he just needs to be mindful of the time if he wants to. If there aren't going to be that many clear, then if he wants to be a fast 4, stays on the inside track there, nice and tall at B, which jumps very well, and beautifully jumping out at C. I think getting across over to this oxer here, being mindful of the time. The horse looks like it has a fairly large stride, so he'll use that to his advantage in this 4 here, making that look quite easy. Now I think with this short 1, he just has to stay really tall with his body, and it's too bad. And then opts for the 7 to come home to stay within the time allowed. That's too bad.
Yeah, finishes on a total of 12, 80.09. Some very good highlights in there for Michael Hughes and Dom Perignon. Niall, your thought?
Yeah, starting to look like this course really doesn't suit a big, slower mover. As a rider, I think you pretty much have to be perfect to jump a horse, that kind of horse clear over these jumps. It just looked like just lost the rideability a little bit towards the end. Had to make quite a big adjustment into that double of verticals, and has a couple of faults there. But overall, Michael is such a smooth, elegant rider, and he made that look easy, even though he punched a couple of rails out of the way.
Tyser Owen of Australia now, and Mike Smith's Hialita B for the US owner, for the rider who was part of the Olympic Games in 2024. Tyser, who was regularly top 10 here last season in the Grand Prix as well, including in the 5-star on week 9 as well. We'll see how this now experienced pair fare tonight. But Carly, they've got some good mileage under the lights.
Yeah, this is our first Olympic pairing we're going to see here tonight. I think we have 1 or 2 more later in the class. So she should be able to walk her course tonight, ride the plan that suits her horse. She knows it very well, and hopefully pull out a clear. But sport, you never know what can happen. I love a good chestnut mare. This is one of my favorite chestnut mares, I think, in the sport currently. So quite a good fighter, beautifully ridden there, and manages to get down that line unscathed. This mare is usually pretty quick, so time's normally not such a factor for her. It's just managing the energy underneath with Taisa, and she seems to manage it very well.
Wow.
Yeah, mare's jumping very well tonight. A lot of engine.
I was about to say, you've got to manage both engine and fuel on this course with the length of it, haven't you?
Yes. Oh. Good save in that 4. Looks like she just landed a little lost and a bit open, and she just trusted the mare scope there to get out in that 4. And definitely well within the time.
Good shot. And so Tyser Owen of Australia will give us the 4th of the clears. Tyser and Hialita B in the park for the clears. They'll be back into round 2. Niall, well executed.
Spectacular. I thought that horse jumped out of its skin tonight. It was giving air at all the oxers. Taisa did an incredible job staying on top of the time allowed without rushing the horse anywhere. Like you said, Carly, this is a chestnut mare with a lot of attitude, with a lot of punch, and Taisa did an excellent job, putting together the round that she planned. You could tell that it's a seasoned partnership that trusts each other inside out. And even when it got a little hairy and wobbly down by the in-gate there, Taisa reacted, immediately and got the mare back on track and put the finishing touches on a wonderful clear. She deserved that. That was awesome.
4 clears so far in this NetJets Grand Prix. 23-year-old Charlotte Murray now, and Magnum Z, who trains with Spencer Smith, who comes up a little later on as well. They were placed in the Grand Prix in Traverse City out through the summer, jumped here in the under-25 series as well. But Carly, this will be another big step for her tonight.
Yeah, I think just getting the mileage under her belt, the more she does, the more experience she has, the more she can come in here with some immense confidence and execute the plan that she walks with her and her trainer. And it'll be great to see how she rides this course, especially this line tonight. Beautifully ridden in the 3, and then
got it.
Set that up nicely in 5. Very well done. Seems to be a good combination, a good pairing, and rode in nicely, and staying tall for this B. It's too bad. That B is tricky, huh?
It is.
It is tricky. It's definitely bigger.
And that's what I said, when you walked down that line, you saw the oxer going in, it looked a lot bigger, and then you're sort of disappearing into the distance for the 3rd part. What did it look like to you?
I agree. So definitely you want to keep your eyes up at B and help as much as you can with your leverage to help get their eyes up, to get their balance up. And it doesn't seem to be that jumping out of C is too difficult. Some nights you see that those triple combinations, you have to work quite a bit to get out, and I think Peter's done a nice job in the combinations where you need to put a bit of thought into it, but it's not too much of a physical challenge for the horses.
Total of 12, 81.45 for Charlotte Murray and Magnum Z as they finish on 12 here, but got through one of the hardest parts of the course. But Niall, another look back here at this triple combination.
Yeah, that just seems like, maybe a bit of an experience from the horse's part. She came in really well, held her body great, and, the horse had a hefty enough fault there. You wouldn't say he just rolled it out of the cups. Probably, just lacking that little bit of experience. That's a delicate combination. Always hard to jump a vertical in between 2 oxers like that, especially against the rail of the ring, like Carly touched on earlier in the class. But no glaring mistakes in that round. Just some pulls on the ground. I thought it was an excellent experience for a really young rider. Yeah, lots to be positive and take from that.
Good stuff from Charlotte Murray. Jessica Springsteen now, and Jess with Don Juan, the horse that she rode to a silver medal for the team in Tokyo, now 17 years of age, the stallion by Benameco de Muse. And for her, she was top 3 in the 5-star in Thermal. Former London Grand Prix winning pairing as well. And again, they're really just Carly getting back into the top flight together, aren't they?
Yes, but also a pair that knows each other very well, and again, one you'd like to see that walks the course, sets a plan, and just executes it to a T. But obviously, yes, it's the beginning of an early season, getting back into the swing of things, knocking off some of the rust. How much rust? Well, I don't know. I think we'll see tonight. But when you have that relationship with a horse, usually it's less rust than you
think. It's not as deep.
But it shows. I mean, she rode that line beautifully. Horse reacted to what she was asking. And so far, I think it looks a little, not very rusty to me. I think it looks great. Good. Gives the support she needed in that triple combo. And carries down here to the Oxer. Managing, he looks a bit fresh tonight, which is also good, that you like seeing horses eager to get down there, but I think she's managing it well. Nice recovery over the wall.
Ooh,
and
yeah,
again,
that was going to get a long way.
Some of those horses are taking a peek there.
Just like Ben's horse, just looked like it stuttered a hair off the ground. Maybe didn't catch the Liverpool, or maybe there's a bit of a reflection in the water there. But again, for such an experienced horse, that's an unusual mistake for it to have.
I agree.
Just on the 4:79.79 into 6th place for Jessica Springsteen and Don Juan. Carly, though, I feel we've knocked quite a bit of rust off, but let's just have another look at this and talk us through it.
Yeah, it just jumped that a little funny. She did a good job on the recovery and just couldn't quite get there. He just looked a little and then just took a little bit of a breath, which made that distance a little longer than I think she anticipated, which is a shame because I thought she managed it very well.
Otherwise, a very good round. So holding at the 4 clears so far, 20 deep into our 43 here tonight as well. Chris Pratt now of Canada to take the High Roads Ideal ES, the Dutch-bred gelding for Chris, highly experienced rider. Finished well in the classes here in the similar 4-star back in December too, and finished well out on the Grand Prix on week 1, finishing in 5th place there. This has looked a really consistent, solid combination now, Carly, and it's great to see him with another good horse at the top.
Yeah, he's taken his time with this one as well and built it up, and they've definitely have a bit of a rapport now, so they know each other well enough. But obviously stepping up is always learning something new about your horse and things you need to improve. So it'll be interesting to see tonight how they manage and what they can take away from it. But so far he's off to a good start. A little sulky in some of the places, but he seems to be managing it just fine. Sets him up beautifully for that 3, and hopefully just as well. And just as well for the 5. So I think he's managing it well enough. And he seems to be forward enough on the pace where time shouldn't necessarily be an issue. But opts for the 9 there in order to help set up for this combination to give him room at the vertical, which works out. Good. Really keeping the time allowed in mind. I think big enough stride, so this 4 shouldn't be too forward, but now that we've seen a few horses look at that Liverpool, you can't really take that for granted, especially by the in-gate. Trust this.
Gets enough energy up there in the end.
Yep, and trusting the scope. Now here you have to set him up a little more careful, and then opts for the 7.
8. Yeah. Does the ad beautiful.
Go within the time.
Just going to be good enough for time to 81.05, and adding to the clears, the 5th clear there coming for Chris Pratt and Ideal ES. Niall, from what I saw of them on week 1 as well, they've just got that lovely rhythm now.
For sure. This is, a budding partnership. They're extremely consistent, I find. The horse is really careful. And Chris seems to know exactly how to help him and when to help him. It's just one of those rounds where the pair looks like a pair. It looks like kind of hand in glove. Yeah, beautiful to watch. Excellent result.
And makes a difference there, Carly, with Chris, who's a very experienced rider. Do I put it that way?
Yeah, I would say so. But it's now I feel like we're picking up on a trend here. Okay, even with Olympians, you have to have a little bit of luck on your side. I thought Jessie got a little unlucky, but the more you get to know your horse, it seems that those are having a little bit more success. And when you can ride the plan, it seems to be that you're faring a little bit better than those who do not.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Let's see what the plan is for Stella Wasserman and Stella with Precious Dueserhagen. Again, one of the younger riders in the field on this 11-year-old mare by Kornito Belensky. A little bit of a reach there early on. And Niall, they're going to want to be a little bit more settled in here, aren't they?
Yeah. She just kind of hunted down to a really long distance and unfortunately ends up on a suboptimal takeoff point to the plank. It just looks a little erratic, a little maybe some nerves kicking in. Stella's an awesome rider, super gutsy. Yeah. I know that this horse has been an absolute saint for her. Placing in 5-star Grand Prix and allowing her to step up to this level. Let's see if she can just kind of put things back together and end the round on a good experience here.
And again, as you say, they've been coming in well. They finished 6th in the Grand Prix and the 5-star in Thermal to finish off the season. They won the 2-star Grand Prix in Ocala last week as well. So they've been doing the right steps to get to this.
Yeah, you have to do she's doing all the right steps, but this is also sport. Things happen, and that's also what makes it exciting, and that's why we keep coming back to it. If we've won every class, that wouldn't be very exciting.
If you well, you can't win, and not everybody can win every class for a start, which is the perfect thing. But if you hit the perfect shot and hit the perfect, delivery at tennis as well every time, that's not what the sport would be about. There we are, total of 80.23 Stella Wasserman, Precious Dueserhagen. Niall, to come to you, the round improved.
The round improved. It looked like just kind of early course jitters. Took a bit of a big shot to the second jump, which made the third jump come up really quick, and then kind of messed up her track to the plank, and she just ends up punting that out of the way. And then the horse just seemed to get a little over careful, had to stretch out of here, and really. That was a really late rub. The horse did everything it could to get out of the way. This is an exciting partnership, though. A fast horse with a fast rider. Stella's young. She's learning as she goes. It's definitely a pair that we're gonna see in some big Grand Prix be really competitive this season.
I agree.
So let's talk about who we're going to see. We've got 5 combinations already through into that jump off, and we're going to head down to the warm up to Ali.
Hey, Stephen. Down here with Delaney Flynn. Delaney, that was such a close round, but such a beautiful round. Now, that fence has gotten so many people. Can you talk us through maybe what the horse sees or what the rider feels?
Yeah, so coming off of the turn to the Oxer, it's a bit of a blind turn around number 10. So you either have to kind of step out one more stride or get the first one out of the turn. I got a little bit of a big one into the Oxer, and then it made the 3 even slightly shorter for me. So, if I had stepped out one more, maybe I would have had time faults, but I was really happy with how she jumped.
She looked amazing. Now, earlier we were talking about bit changes. She looked so consistent. Can you talk about the bit change? Was that helpful?
I felt like today I had slightly more control than I did in the qualifier, and just was able to open her up for the time allowed and then sit down and get her back nicely. The other day maybe she went through my hand a little bit, but she felt 100% today.
And so does something like that, a quick change before a large class, affect you as the rider?
I think because I had used that bit once before, I had confidence in the choice, but you definitely think about if they're going to go out there and get a little mouthier, what could happen. But I was really happy with the result today.
And she looked fantastic, and we wish you the best of luck. Thanks so much, Delaney.
So much.
Back to you, Stephen.
Thank you, Ali. Well done, Delaney. As we say, lots of different agendas here tonight, and some certainly big deliveries coming out of our group so far. 5 clears out of the first half of this class. Christian Kukuk, no big surprise there for the German rider with Just Be Gentle. Carlos Sanguerrero continues a good run for the Mexican rider with H5 Origi Horta. Katie Dine and Cordani PS building a new partnership very fast indeed. Olympian for Australia, Tyser Owen, highly to be again well delivered round, as it was for Canadian, dropping right in the rhythm there for Chris Pratt and Ideal ES. Our 5 clears so far tonight in our NetJets Grand Prix. We're going to be back in just a few moments' time after the break and readying for our second half of tonight's big NetJets showdown. Join us in a few.
Listening is crucial. I think every step of the way you listen, because it has to be a partnership in that sense, that there is communication both ways.
There's so many good things that horses do for us. We owe it to them to treat them as we would anything else that we love and care for.
We are their biggest advocate. It's our responsibility to take care of and make sure that they're happy, healthy, so that they can live long, happy, healthy lives.
It is a complete privilege to work with horses. And it is our responsibility to protect them and make sure that their welfare is the #1 priority.
A bottle of Chrome Horse Society tequila is the sign that you are in the right place at the right time with the right people. It is tequila redefined, unapologetically modern, and always a ride to remember. This season, the Winter Equestrian Festival debuts the Show Pony, its first signature cocktail. Crafted with Chrome Horse Society tequila, it's bright, citrusy, and beautifully smooth. The perfect sip to celebrate every ride. Chrome Horse Society Tequila is the official tequila of the 2026 Winter Equestrian Festival. Please sip responsibly.
We fly horses anywhere around the world. It's about getting an animal from point A to point B safely in best of health. We do not leave any stone unturned. We give horses wings around the world, across the globe, or across the street.
Well, welcome back to the $215,000 NetJets Grand Prix here tonight, the four-star showdown that is really where we start to ramp things up as part of our Wellington International season as well. And we're also getting the views of our riders that have been through our big competition, maybe even clears as well. And Ali is down with them all. It's a very good evening to Ali Wolf.
Hi, Stephen. Yes, down here with Katie Dine in one of 5 clear rounds during the first half of this class that we've seen. Katie, that was an incredible round. I know this is a new partnership with this horse. Can you talk us through what it feels like? And is this the biggest class you guys have jumped thus far?
No question, definitely. This is our first 4-star together. And I said I'd take it class by class, and she jumped really well in the WEF on Thursday. So we said we'd do the Grand Prix, and I went in just trying to, I'm still figuring her out, try to give her a good ride and have a positive experience. So I was super thrilled to jump clear. It was, I mean, you always hope, but I was totally not expected, and a little bit less pressure on myself in that way, but I just focused on riding well.
And now we've seen this horse a little bit with your trainer, Beat. Is that a hard transition coming from Beat's ride to your ride?
Maybe for the horse, but for me, no. I was focused a bit on my other horses last fall, and Beat was going down to some other shows down here, and we wanted her to get in the ring, and he jumped her in WEC and was placed in a 3-star Grand Prix. And for me, it was really helpful. She's a totally different ride for me, and Beat and I have worked together for a long time, and we have a really good relationship in that sense. I think he really better understood the horse and how I could better ride her by taking her in the ring a few times. They're always a bit different in the ring. And I was happy for her to have that momentum and not just kind of sit around and wait for these big classes.
Well, you and Beat have a great partnership as well as your new horse. We wish you the best of luck in the jump up. Thank you so much, Katie. Back to you, Stephen.
Thank you, Ali. And these are the clears they referred to there. Christian Kukuk of Germany, Carlos Sancarero, Katie Dinan in the mix there as the third, Tyser Owen and Chris Pratt. We're going to see who joins them as we go into our second half in just a few moments' time. We'll be back after this break. See you in a few.
I think as trainers or anybody else, there's so many things that these horses do for us. I've always said horses give me wings, they take me all over the world, and they give me a sense of responsibility. Again, there's so much good that a horse can do with people, and we just need to be so responsible, and we owe it to them to do what's absolutely the best for them as well.
And welcome back to Wellington International for tonight's NetJets Grand Prix. It's been a fantastic week of sport as well. We've been also over at the wonderful dressage venue too for top 5-star dressage this week. But now we're into our top jumpers in action on Saturday night. And it is living up to its billing as well. The NetJets Grand Prix, always a great early runner of big Grand Prix throughout the Wellington season, as well as part of the Winter Equestrian Festival. Last year's winner, Christian Kukuk, the Olympic champion, is in the mix already with a different ride this time in Just Be Gentle. 5 representing nations from around the world, and 22 already gone of the 43 and all. Those are the clears so far. As I say, Germany, we've got Mexico, USA, Australia and Canada. I'm not sure we could put a wider range of nations on this if we tried. And alongside me is Carly Anthony. Now Nassar just stepped out and he'll be back. And Carly, what did we make of tonight's competition so far?
I think 5 in the first half is a great place to start. Second half is obviously a reverse order from the WEF, so in theory we should have a fairly stacked second half. It'll be interesting to see how many we get out in the second half. My original guess was going to be 5 or 6 clear, and we're well on our
we're
way.
already at 5. Yes, you can put that one behind you.
On our way. So
this line though has had the biggest effect on it. We see Mimi Gotchman. We don't really need to go too much into each person doing it, but just the way that it has ridden, Carly.
Yeah, this is your, what I like to say, this is a magnified version of your basics. Can you go forward and come back smoothly with enough impulsion, obviously, to jump meter 55, meter 60 clear? And with all the added factors in, you have a square, wide enough oxer away from the out gate to a nice forward open 3 to a tall, skinny black vertical. And then a very patient 5 with the Liverpool set back and all white poles. I mean, it's each jump in and of itself is a question. And even if you set this at home as poles in a line of poles, it's going to ride hard enough. Now you have to jump with all those question marks and get it done smoothly. So it's the course itself overall seemed like quite a challenge, but that seems to be the line of the evening for us tonight.
Well, lots of challenges out there. Those that have surmounted it so far are our 5 that we see on the screen. Christian Kukuk in his favourite place, going clear as first to go Just Be Gentle. As we've seen, he likes to go in a jump off and set the standard and say, okay, come and get me, because Carly, we'll talk about this more later, but that is the sort of position he likes to be in, to get others, just to force them into mistakes, doesn't he? But I think the difficulty he's going to have tonight, we've got 5 clears out of this already. As you say, we've got our strongest lineup coming after this, because we're going in reverse order of qualifying of the Grand Prix qualifier this week. So we could see 6, 7 more of these clears, or even more, out of our next group. And that's suddenly going to make it a long distance from Christian going to the end.
I agree. I mean, he's fast, but Lily Keenan might be faster.
On faster. I like it.
I can't help myself.
Okay, well, hopefully breezing in without a chilly breeze is Arctic now, with Captain Brian Canan just about to head into the arena as well for the Glen Bay Farm. But we're enjoying the Florida sunshine throughout the day and the balmy evenings here, the warmth.
I would say thank goodness, because the beginning of this week, I tell you what.
Did you have to put a coat on?
Was it that
bad? Was it that bad?
A coat. I've been living in Florida a little longer now. I've become accustomed to this beautiful weather. So 2 coats, I would say, at the beginning of the week were sufficient. I feel bad because those northerners now, it's 3 degrees up north. So we have nothing to complain about.
Excellent. But we've got hot action here, and alongside me is US team rider Carly Anthony. Carly, what we've seen so far has been really interesting. Brian Canan comes into frame now for the US with the Arctic JTZ. Again, combination that gone very well up in Ocala. They were top 10 in the MS Classic last week as well. Here too, they start to step things up a little bit more on this 10-year-old. This is going to be very interesting to see as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good another. We've seen a lot of great pairings tonight. This would be another one of them, and I like his way of riding, light forward seat, very American style, if you will. And I'd say this is a great match. And I'd say let's see if he can be the first in our second half to set the pace and the expectation of putting in a nice clear round. The horse seems to be wanting to make the effort, jumping beautifully, and seems to be on the pace and on the track to be within the time allowed.
Oh, well, that's going to drop.
That's too bad. That's the first time we've seen that come down tonight.
And as much as we've concentrated on this line...
Oh, no, Estella had it, but I'd say...
Either way.
Yeah.
As much as we concentrate on this line, they have been falling in different directions. Just this one's probably been the more magnified. But again, you get that feedback of information going back to the warm-up. That first group will have gone through it. Even just a little break in the proceedings there, that almost feels like a little bit of a breath for everyone, isn't it, to gather their thoughts back up? Yeah, a bit of a reset. And sometimes in these night classes, you might see that the second half either gets better or gets worse. It just depends on how the night kind of progresses, how the light changes, whatever that might happen. Because at the start of the night, I mean, obviously it's under the lights, but a different level of energy. Well, Captain Brian Cannan unfortunately going to decide to retire. Like I say, early days under the lights with this horse. There's going to be a lot more coming out for them yet, but decided to retire this time around. As you say, there's lots that can happen in the second half. Sometimes you get, as you say, a really difficult line, and it almost starts to get into everybody's head then, and it's hard for you as riders to go, okay, I've got to put that out and not over concentrate on that line of three. Or after watching, people seem to figure out how to ride it better, and that becomes the easier line, and then something else ends up popping up that surprises everybody. Like that, I think this 4 at the end of the course isn't one to sleep on either. I think that's catching a few people, and it might catch a few more in this second half. Luis Fernando Larrazabal now of Venezuela, and the Westphalia mare Baroness, the rider who's ridden through to Olympic Games. He actually won 3 classes here last week. He's a prolific winner here in Wellington. Rode this horse too to a silver at the Bolivarian Games. He's already won several of the Grand Prix qualifiers already into this year as well. And so Luis on hot form. Talked to us a little bit earlier on this week on WEF Weekly as well in the build-up here. Good interview with him to catch on that. And he comes in with such confidence on building those wins, doesn't it? It's nice when you get out of a week and you've gone 3 wins and he could have gone more. Yeah, well, and who doesn't like winning? But I'd say it's what we're in this for.
He's a fun rider to watch with an early rail. That's a little disappointing and sad to see, but he rides with such a level of spirit and energy that he also brings that into his horse. Just seems like they're not quite in sync tonight. It happens. Yeah. But he seems to be trying to manage it and hopefully kind of smooth out the rest of the course and just kind of keep building on this relationship with this horse. It seems to be like it's kind of going a little bit smoother now, getting back connected. But I do like watching Luis ride. He comes in with such level of confidence, energy, and he's quite a competitor. He likes to go in and give it all he's got, and I think his horses pick up on that as well.
He's not one that comes in to jump off and says, okay, I'm going for a little quiet clear, does he? He's
yeah,
great fun to watch.
Definitely not. Yep. Does that forward nicely. I think the hard part too is after that very open 4, now you have to compress and really get them to jump up through the wither, give a good shape in those double of verticals. And just looks like he ran out of steam at the end of the last.
Well, total of 1280.41 for Luis Fernando Larrazabal and Baroness for Venezuela. And again, you can continue those runs, you can have win after win, and then tonight, as you say, very early on, they just weren't quite gelling.
Yeah, it's all about being connected, being in the moment, and being present with your horse. And some nights, whether you have every intention to have that level of focus, your horse might not. And that's the beauty of working with animals, with these horses, and that little extra level of difficulty is being able to get on and feel what your horse feels that night and doing your best to manage it.
So remaining at the 5 clears, early stages of the second half, Erin Ballard now of Canada, world number 40 with the Lamferdas, De Flor the third, Zed Santa Rosa, stallion by Dersan out for this highly accomplished Canadian Olympian as well. Again, with several horses here getting the step up. It's really interesting to watch this Grand Prix, I always think, as well, because to me it's the stepping stone to those 5-star Grand Prix coming up over the next few weeks. You start to really see who's going to be riding what, and they just want to put often this last Grand Prix as a nice bit of mileage on it.
Yeah, I think nobody comes into I think, any Saturday night class at WEF, thinking they're going in there in preparation or hoping to practice by any means. I think every single one of these riders tonight comes in wanting to compete, but at the same time, it's a long season. You're building. We've got some good 5-stars coming up. You have the Rolex at the end of season, so you use these Grand Prix to take notes of what's working, what's not, the weak points, the strong points, because it's only going to get harder from here.
Yeah.
I mean, just this line alone is proof of that. So she's doing a good job. She managed that line very well. The horse wants to get a little strong. I think managing the stride looks not the easiest, and Erin's doing a beautiful job at making that look probably a lot easier than it is. And she gets over. I think she has to be mindful of the time, but the horse has a very big stride. So probably leaving out 1 or 2 where people were fitting that in there. So I think trust the 4 here, jump the wall clear, get the 4 done, and then set up the nice 1 here and just be patient. Hopefully maybe to get the 7 to come home to be within that time allowed. What do you think about the time?
Should be it's going to be very, very close to it, but don't want to call it. It's going to be over 82.74. It was just looking so agonizingly ticking away at the end there. 82.74, 1 time for there for Erin Ballard and De Flor, the third, Z Santa Rosa.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
That's too bad. I thought she rode that beautifully. The horse jumped absolutely spectacular. And I think, it's just one of those nights that...
But a little of what I'm saying about going towards the 5-stars, that then gives you confidence there. Yes, if they could have picked it off tonight, that would have been very nice. But you also come away and go, jumped fantastically, really good ride. I feel confident for another 2 weeks' time.
Absolutely. Jumped that easily. So without any doubt that the 5-star he would be ready for that in 2 weeks' time. So yes, to save that in your, little mental pocket for the next couple of weeks in preparation. I thought that was very well ridden. They looked like a great match.
It is to Roberto Teran now of Colombia. Roberto with the DSP Callas, highly experienced rider here indeed. He's gone close in the Rolex Grand Prix before now as well. And this pair certainly have got the mileage here that could add. This went superbly through the national classes just a few weeks ago as they built into that National Grand Prix on week 2. That was only last week. On the qualifier then as well, and there were a lot in that. Came in last in the Grand Prix last week, but again, good build-up for them heading towards this NetJets Grand Prix.
Yeah, another chestnut mare we see with a little bit of spice, so he's doing a very good job managing that. But on the smaller stride here, but he seemed to get that 3 done nicely, which then helped set up for the 5. Let's see if he opts for the 9 here, which he does. I think was a good choice for the mare, and she jumps in beautifully, and that helps set her up for the rest of the triple. I think so far it looks like a smooth round. Is this a fairly new combination, these two?
These two have been around for a little while. Yeah.
So knowing the horse, I think this 4 is going to ride a little forward, gets it done, trusts the scope, lets her reach for that back rail. Using his voice there to get that in with a little bit of patience.
Looks good for time. Gets it done. There we go. 79.83. And so DSP Callas and Roberto Teran continue their consistent run and give us the 6th clear so far. But I refer back to the last couple of weeks of having jumped under the lights as well, and the progressions up the steps, up the ladder, as I was already talking about last week, begets this week.
Yeah, and I think what I like about the way they have the schedule for WEF is that it kind of builds.
Yes.
So depending on your horse, depending on the goals you want to achieve for a season, you can always work backwards from wherever you want to finish. And the nice thing about what they offer here is you can pick and choose to help build towards that. So this would definitely be a building night for those 5-star pairings to see where they're at and what they need to work on in preparation for week 5. But that's that seems to be the case tonight.
And can she pull off another Grand Prix win tonight? Lily Keenan of the USA, the Chasnet Farm in New York's faster than our 16-year-old horse, the horse she rode for the Geneva Grand Prix a few weeks ago. She had a wonderful run just last week, winning the National Grand Prix on New Ride with Highway, but that also sets you up very nicely. But this pair last season finishing well both in America in 5-star Grand Prix, second in Paris, had a really good shot. And Lily in fine form at the moment, has already started with wins and top threes. She's come out really going for it straight with the foot on the gas, hasn't she, this season?
Yes, she has. I mean, even just building from the momentum of last year, she didn't, I would say, that was the horse was super to her there. I mean, she rode that beautifully, and then they just trusted each other to get that done. She gave him the time he needed to jump that clear. I would say if going in from last year to this year, it just seems to kind of blended nicely together, and she's just carrying that momentum. And she has built up a lot of that momentum. I think she's well within the time now. The horse naturally is on the quicker side.
Yeah.
So I think it's less of a factor for her. Rides that 4 beautifully. Trust the scope there, and then just has to get him back home. Using her voice there to also just extra guarantee and a beautiful ride to finish.
80.11, and that will be enough to get inside the time as well. Number 7, Lily Keenan. And faster, just fast enough there, Carly.
We could go all night, Stephen. Don't get me started. We'll be with puns for days.
but as you said, rode that really tricky line beautifully down there to the water tray to finish.
Yeah.
But this is where a partnership, I mean, the horse is 16 years old. They jumped in Geneva. They've jumped all the big classes around the world. She rates this at the top of her string. They are ready to go and battle for this. And when it's not quite perfect, they'll get themselves out of it.
They trust each other. You could definitely see that tonight, and a great match. And if she says, you know, that's her best horse at the moment, it obviously shows tonight. But she rode to go clear also, so it was definitely a team effort in getting that done tonight. So.
McLean Ward now of the USA and Ingrid Yelston's I Know. Now talking new rides for the world's number 9. And this Dutch bred gelding by Oretso VDL, former with Jana Vargas as well, produced originally with Andreas Skau of Denmark. And again, just started off last week with the neatly named I Know. Now looking forward to seeing how McLean swiftly gets on with this one as well. I mean, again, we're going back to a horse that's 13, and a little of what Lily Keenan was saying last week when she came out with Highway, who's 14 and done it all. This is another horse that's been and jumped big classes with a top professional rider. This is where they'd want to just, they'll have done some work at home to build up that relation a little bit, but feel they can just get on with it.
Yeah, with a horse like that, you just have to learn to know what buttons it's been installed, and for that horse to also then know a bit how McLean wants to have it ridden. That was too bad. I thought it just twisted a little bit in the air, but I thought he made a good approach in, and that's also just getting to know him a little bit. It's a very cute type. Goes great expression, wonderful jump, and I like the canter. And obviously McLean knows what he's doing. But giving it a beautiful ride, and I think we're going to see a lot of great things coming from this pair in the future. It just looked like they had a little bit of a miscommunication, but again, just getting to know him.
Just going to finish on the 881.26 for McLean Ward and I Know. But what they do know is there's a little bit more now that they've gleaned of their partnership, haven't they?
Absolutely. I love this horse. I love the type. It wants to do all the right things, and it just looks like it needs to learn a little bit more on how McLean wants it to go. And but I think it's a great match. And like you said, I think we'll have many good rounds in the future now that they can take what they've learned here tonight. If anyone can do the homework and come back and win the next class, it's that man right there.
McLean Ward just out of the reckoning today, but I'm sure will be with I Know in the future. And in the frame now is US rider Molly Ashcawley, the Lewisburg farm of Boston's La Rona, former rider of Gecko Schroeder. And this is the 10-year-old mare by Grand Slam. Been with Molly since last year. and finished well in the Challenge Cups so far. And again, newer partnership to come into this season, although they've been polishing that off last. This will be very interesting to see this pair under the lights here, Carly.
I agree, but she's been putting in some very consistent rounds, and it's definitely showing. And I think, obviously, like you said, early start to the season. Oh, that's too bad. It's hard to tell from that angle how what happened there, and then just a bit unlucky then at the next jump. The hard part with that line and some of these other lines is that they're all tied together. So when you've got one wrong, you've got to really fight hard to get those next done, and then you can kind of reset once that line's complete.
But you do daisy chain, don't you? You get one mistake and suddenly the next one is straight at you and straight at you and straight at you. Especially when, as you say, you're coming down that tight line, 3 strides. There's no room to then go, oh, hang on a minute, I'll play around with this.
Then a short 5 after that. She seems to be doing well, trying to keep it together, put in a good round. Obviously, we're building up for the rest of season and getting in the mileage so that the next time she comes in here, they know what they need to do to put in a clear round.
Going to be a score of 12 this time, 80.83 for Molly Ashcawley and Lorona for the US rider. But again, and again, I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but they'll take some good pieces away from that.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, tonight so far, we haven't seen anything dramatic happen, which I think is a sign of a great course. Rails falling everywhere, rubs everywhere, mistakes here or there, but nothing major. And I think a lot of it's going to be taken away as learning on what needs to get worked on for the next Saturday night. And I think we'll see what happens, when we see these pairings come out for the next Grand Prix.
Belgium now, and Peter de Brabander now, and with first choice HT, the Danish bred gelding by Favourite Ask, owned by Marty Huggins here in Wellington as well. Now again, this is another one that we won't have seen as much of under the lights here in these big classes, so again, this will be interesting to see how this pair get on, but they should have had enough mileage again over the last few months to build up to this nicely.
Yeah, I watched them pre-season here at WEF, put in some fantastic rounds, and obviously it's early in the season, early pairing for these night classes, an early rail, but I think that was just a misjudgment on the horse's part, just a little added into the front rail, and I think gave a nice reaction over number 3. Again, I think he's new to showing under the lights and just trying to figure out what needs to get worked on for the next Grand Prix. Having out of that line, that seems to just be getting everybody. You got to really make sure you jump that tall white vertical with a bit of patience, give him a bit of room, give him a bit of support, more so than you think you'd need.
What I would say at this point of watching this course, there is just nowhere here where you can take your eye off the ball for a split second, is there? Because there's just something else coming at you, and it's a different question each time, which is really clever course design.
Yes, I mean, even after the triple combination, you have that long gallop where you think you can have a breather, but you don't also want them thinking that they're done. You don't need them getting on the forehand. You don't need to waste time. There's so many questions, even with a long gallop to that oxer, where you have to be on all the time.
Coming down to our final fence, just on the, going to be a little bit of time to add here as well. So it's 12 jumping, 3-time 84.10, Peter Brabander of Belgium. And we're going to head down to the warm-up and say good evening to Ali again.
Hey, Stephen. Yes, down here with Roberto Turan. Another clear round for the night. Your horse jumped amazing, Roberto. I know she's coming back from a slight injury. How does she feel on the comeback?
She feels better than ever. She had a lot of mileage before she had to have a little break. And now she's confident, her technique is great, and she feels amazing.
And what are we going to expect in the jump-off from you guys?
I'm going to try to be in the podium today. I'm going to go for it like last Saturday night. And she's really fast, and she's feeling amazing. We're going to go for it tonight.
And you are a very fast rider, so I have no doubt. And good luck in the jump-off. Thank you so much, Roberto. Back to you, Stephen.
Roberto Turan there saying he's definitely going to give it a big spin here tonight at this NetJets Grand Prix, and looking forward to that. Still quite a bit of ground to cover between then and now. Our 31st of 43 here tonight with Eduardo de Menezes and the H5 Sport Horses, H5 Aussie Van de Bishop, the stallion by de Montesemi for Eduardo. Highly experienced rider again, and will be interesting to see. And Carly Anthony alongside me. Carly, he's looking like a nice steady start. And again, but we found for the time allowed they can do that a little bit. It's interesting that how those last few have really started to look close to the time early on. And then certainly with Christian Kukuk, okay, he can be a little bit deceptive. They seem to be just steamrolling well inside it.
Yes, and I'm going to be honest. We were talking to Niall, turning back to number 5 there. He made quite a tight turn back to 5, which has shown to be a little bit of a risk, and that ended up working out for him. So he seems to know this horse very well, trusts the horse. The horse on the slower side of the canter, but he's big enough stride, trying to make up time where he can. So saving time there to number 5, while it was a bit of a risk, worked out. I think he'll be okay on the time. And he's giving this horse, I was lucky on the wall. He's giving this horse a great ride. That was too bad.
That is a shame. 2 coming down late on. It almost looked as though he got away with it at the MS fence, but it is going to be 8 there, 79.57 for Eduardo de Menezes and H5 Aussie Van de Bishop. It goes back to what I was just saying. There is no space here to think you'd switched off at any moment. It's got to be quite mentally draining here. Watch this.
I was going to say, here it kind of looks like the end of the course.
Yeah.
That's what, for me, what the horse looks like is just giving you a little bit of... he thinks he's done, especially here. You're just like, oh my gosh, there's 13A.
More. There's more. 13A and B
13A.
And another one. Yes, I should be just 12 fences and done.
After having to make such a good effort at 12.
Stephanie Maciero now of our next to go for Brazil. The Bon Chance Farms, Novak de Calvary is the gelding by Katoki for the rider now. Running some fantastic horses for the Bon Chance Farm that have been behind a number of very good ones, including Ilex, of course. Finished well in the Liège Grand Prix over in Europe last season as well. And then headed out here to get some good results in December too in the build-up. We have a nice 4-star in December, which is a good curtain raiser for many getting into the season here in Wellington. And she's looked really competitive so far from what I've seen in the early stages of this year's WEF.
Yeah, and pre-season too, this pair were on fire, jumping beautifully. It's a great match. They seem to get on very well. She did 7-2-3, but that seemed to be the plan. And again, this horse has a great expression, in the snaffle in the mouth. I mean, just a beautiful type, and she's riding it beautifully.
We go through that extended pre-season, season, post-season. It goes on for a while.
Forever. It's a never-ending loop. Oh, that's too bad. It looks like the horse just got a little low there. It didn't have its eye up high enough. That was too bad. I thought she rode in beautifully.
And that's what I say about the middle part. You've got to really be up on that vertical. It comes right at you as a very tall vertical in the middle.
Yep. Let's see how she manages the 4 here. Oh, too bad. I thought she got the 4 done nicely and trusted it, but maybe just needed to give a little bit more support. That double is starting to come down a lot more than it did in the first round. I mean, it came down a few times in the first half, but...
It's interesting how it's playing out. Total 12 there, 81.63 for Stephanie and Novak de Calvary. But as you're saying, interesting. Okay, the line, 5, 6, 7 early on in the first half was really influential. Now it's starting to spread. Now it's getting towards the end of the course as well. As you say, 13A is being a big obstacle quite literally there as well.
I'd say now it's starting to feel more of the marathon course we thought it would be. Where in the beginning it was catching people on early, and while yes, it's 14 jumps, it didn't seem to be wearing as much as we thought. And now I'm starting to feel like those 14 jumps are...
It's feeling a long way around.
A little longer, yeah.
Now to... Nina Malavé of France. What a season last year. Absolutely stormed up the world rankings to go to world number 8 with the Rain family's My Clementine this time around on this Irish-bred mare, and won class after class last season as well, both here in Wellington and in Okara, and then went on to Europe, won the Allianz Prize in Aachen with this horse as well, and won the Grand Prix qualifier here in December. But that is just a tiny slice of the classes that she won last year. She won all over Europe, including the Brussels Rolex Series Grand Prix. She had the most amazing season, well deserved on her brilliant talent as well, and with the support of the Reins now. We will see how she gets on tonight. Walking the course early with trainer Helena Stormans.
8 there. Yeah, this is some feel this girl has. And I will say it's a lot of fun to see women in the top 10 again.
2 women in the top 10. Laura Kraut.
Yep.
It's been far too long, but now they're there.
Beautifully ridden. Now she's being mindful of the time. Horse is jumping well for her tonight. Gets the 8 done. Stretches over. Wow. Fighting for her tonight. And she's giving it a very good ride. Positive. Good energy. Definitely within the time, but here's now where the test comes. Now we're seeing in the second half. Can she get this 4 done? Land in balance and help get him back just in time for the 13A here. I'm telling you, it's coming up. They're landing out of balance after 12, and that's a sham to the last. That's too bad.
Two down, 79.07 for Nina Malavé of France and Mike Clementine. As you say about this line coming up here, talk us through this, Carly, because it's just playing such a big part now.
Yeah, it's surprising, like you said, how much it's changed. The first half, it was that early line, and now it's the end. But I think they're making such a big effort over that Hermes Oxer with the Liverpool, and I think people are making sure they get that Oxer done, having seen the way that a few of those horses looked at it in the first half. But because of that, because you're having to really ride to get that Oxer done, you're seeing a lot of those horses land feeling like they're done, landing a little out of balance, and they don't have 15 strides to get down to 13A. They've got 8 or 9, and that's just at this end of the course, and you're running a little bit out of steam. You need every stride to count in balance with that impulsion, with that connection.
You've lost your revs off, and now you've got to pull them very quickly back up again.
Yep, and so that's where you're going to see, I would say, the mental fitness of both horse and rider really get it done to have those last 3 jumps stay up.
Rider who's got very strong mental fitness is Nicolas Philipparts, now of Belgium, European team gold medalist last year in Spain. And with a lovely looking horse of what I've seen so far this season in Cornet-Targos PS, this 10-year-old gelding by Cornet de Lee for Nicolas. And finished well in Mechelen in the Masters there. But again, not so exposed to this horse. It'll be really interesting to see. But I've been watching them jump national and now getting to the FEI classes, and it looks impressive. I don't know how much you've seen so far.
Well, first of all, it just did 6
just
to the plank. Yeah, it looks a little, impressed tonight. It looks a little green, but it's also jumping this like it's nothing. I mean, it's stepping over the jumps. So I think there's an incredible future here with this horse. Scope, absolutely it has. Careful, it looks plenty careful. Now it just looks like Nicolas has to give it the mileage it needs. Jump that absolutely beautifully to go in there and be a little bit more consistent and reliable in producing those clear rounds night after night. But this is a very nice new horse to see under the lights here at WEF. It'll be interesting to see how he gets this 4 done. Beautifully ridden. And then just needs to give him a little bit of time. I love the shape of this horse's jump.
Yes.
Just natural.
Lovely stuff. Going to see more of that. It is just the 4 today. We're not going to see more of them today, but I'm sure we will through the season. 80.67 for Nicolas Philipparts and Cornet-Targos PS. Carly, let's take another look down here. But as you say, they just backed off this a little bit.
Yeah, it just like what Niall had said. If you've got to trust it, but if you get a little bit of a look there, then that makes this line ride a whole lot harder than it needs to. But I thought Nicolas.
Let's take a look at those through to the jump of Christian Kukuk of Germany, Carlos Sancarrero of Mexico, Katie Dinan of the USA, Tyza Irwin of Australia. We're building up the nations too with Canada and Chris Pratt, and then into our second half of this first round, Roberto Theran added onto the list for Colombia, and also USA's Lily Keenan, all in contention. Now into Spencer Smith of the USA. This is Queen Hertha for the Stormbridge Capital, Don Stewart and the Ashland Farms. He had such good results with Keeneland last year as well for the US team rider. And going to be very interesting to see how this mare by Balubé de Rouet fares here today, Carly. Carly Anthony alongside me.
Yeah, a newer pairing, but he's a great rider, rides a lot of horses, a lot of different styles of horses well. And she looks to be a little bit on the bloodier side, but he seems to be managing it nicely. So hopefully she can kind of settle in as the course goes on, giving her a little bit of room here to ride this Oxer.
Doesn't quite make it across, but is certainly not the first for that to happen. But again, this for them is going to be their first big night like this, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think getting to learn, how much the horse grows in the ring, or if it gets more blood than it's normally during the day, or lots to take away from tonight.
On the 8th so far for Spencer. Again, it'd be very interesting to see him with Keeneland later on in the season, but again, got to keep building up the new partnerships through. He gives a little bit more space to the wall.
Yeah, and I think it works out for him. Gets the 4 done beautifully, and then hopefully because of that room, he can get this done. And it worked out.
Yeah.
Very well ridden. The mare wanted to get a little bit away from him, and he was patient with her and was able to get through that combination well.
A jumping 2-time 83-83 for Spencer Smith and Queen Hertha. Early rail for them, but again, he really sympathetically rode her around, didn't he?
Yeah, that wasn't a bad ride. I thought he made a nice ride there, and she just misjudged it a little bit. Those rails are deceiving, especially when they go to look down at the W fill as well. It's just a lot to look at. I thought he did a nice job managing it.
So of the clears so far, it is 7 at the moment. And interesting, like you said, we had a couple of clears coming into this second half. We expected maybe a deluge of them to come, but they've dried up a little at the moment. I think there's going to be another tap turned on in a minute. But it has just steadied a little.
It has, it's surprising, but I've been wrong all night tonight, so I'm done making observations.
At least we're consistent. No, you're making some very good observations. Keep them coming. To Celso Ariani now in the San Marino stables and the Maya Group properties, Yip Van T and LZ for the Ryder Road at World Championships previously, and pair that won in Ocala over the summer as well. And again, this is going to take us into our latter few here. We're coming into what are less than 10 remaining in this first round. So it's going to be really interesting to see, because these are our best performers from the class earlier on this week in the Grand Prix qualifier. But the Grand Prix qualifier is so much different because they're not under lights. They're during the day. So it does add a totally different aspect to it.
Well, and you add the fantastic crowd that
Yes.
we get for these Saturday night classes. So it's not just under the lights; it's with that added level of atmosphere that the crowd brings, and they are quite engaged, which is awesome. You love that level of engagement, but that does add a little extra level of difficulty.
It's literally night and day between the two classes. But
Yes.
as you say, that the atmosphere and everything very different for it. Just on an early 4 here, but this is again where you want to put the polish on the rest of the round.
Absolutely, and the night classes in Ocala, while they also have a great turnout and under the lights, it gives a totally different atmosphere.
Different feel.
Yeah, so to have success in both, I think, is a great accolade to have, and to be able to come here and put the rounds in and build towards the end of WEF, jumping those 5-star Grand Prix here. You take a lot away from that, getting this done tonight.
Yeah, got to get the elbows going down there to the MS fence, but gets through this double well.
I love a good elbow flap.
Oh, sit tight, doesn't quite make it at the last, unfortunately. 81-82, just didn't quite come there at the final fence. So what's that, 12 in total, I think. 81-82 for Celso Ariani and Yip Van T and L. But again, early fence form, and then hit a good patch.
Yeah, and he rode that 5-6 to 7 very well, and the horse jumped that beautifully. So overall, a lot of good things to take away from that round tonight. With a few things to go home and work on.
7 combinations left to go in the first round of this NetJets Grand Prix here tonight as well. Gabriel de Mados Machado will be heading in. Celso Ariani heading on out. And Gabriel with the Bay Winds Equestrians. Qatar is the gelding by Canaan for our next up. 10-year-old, and there's been a ride of Brian Mogray's last season as well, including in Lake Placid. Now making the move up with Gabriel of Brazil. Will be interesting to see here. Another horse originally with Francois Matte team as well.
Yeah, this guy's a fast rider. So
Yeah.
if he's in the jump off and he's at the end, that's one to look out for. But we've got to get there first.
We've got to get there first. And actually, if I tell you, coming, you've got Mark Blumen, Rishi Vogel, Keane O'Connor, Shane Sweetnam, Ansgar Holters Jr. and Bertram Allen, for those watching at home. That just gives you a little idea of the strength we've got coming in our final few.
Very fast riders. Really fights to get that 3 done. He's got a lot of work to do to get the 5 done. Oh,
Doesn't.
barely touches
Yeah.
it, but not enough to get that done clear.
But it's one of those lines that calls for getting it absolutely right.
Yeah.
If you're not, there's no wiggle room. is
And
there?
I would say knowing your horse,
Yeah.
because you've got to know if that horse has a big stride like his, you've got to make that ride in, as Niall was saying, that starts at 5. To jump 7 clear, you've got to make the ride in at 5. Perfect. Beautifully ridden to that wall. Oh,
no.
That's too bad. That Hermes Oxer is really proving to be a lot harder in the second half of the
Yeah, and as you say, interestingly, it was not the same influence through the first half, and it's not that conditions have changed. We're under the lights, we're under artificial lights. It's not like we've gone from half light to anything else. It's just the way it's gone. But it is going to be 12 jumping plus time there as well. 10 for time, 91.02 for Gabriel de Manos Machado. And Qatar, another look back down at the early line here. As you say, they really tried to make this.
Yep, he did everything he could to jump that clear. I thought he did his best and just got a bit unlucky there.
It is Mark Blumen now of Columbia for the over-the-top stables of New York, with Uberluck now for the gelding for the Colombian rider, who's won a string of classes with this horse, from Toronto to Devon to Washington, and was finishing into our top 6 in the Grand Prix qualifier earlier on this week as well. So one not to be looked too far past, would we agree?
I agree. I think this is a great partnership. They know each other very well, and he really likes this horse. I think they speak the same language, and with a stallion that can be quite hard. And I think he does a good job managing to be what sometimes he can have a little bit more of an opinion than Marky would like, and I think he does a good job managing it.
Are you saying opinionated men are not easy?
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Now let's see him down here.
Yeah, and this horse has quite a big stride. But he manages
Lovely.
that 5 beautifully, absolutely beautifully. Good. Maybe to get the 8 here. Stays out wide in the 9 to help set up that 2 stride, and it works, it pays off. Now getting over for time, and then you just want to make sure that they don't get on the end of their stride there, because then now he's got to be careful getting that stride back to get a nice careful jump here at the plank, but then up in the hand in the 4 to this Oxer, which now is becoming the nice light rub, but it worked.
But as you saw there, as you said before, he was just then trying to get everything back, and it was just getting a little bit looser for him.
Yep, that's too bad.
Just going to finish on the 4 there, 78.21 for Mark Blumen of Columbia, and Uberluck just drops the first part of 13. 13 has probably become, and I haven't got the stats in front of me, but almost as influential as that 5, 6, 7 line was in the first round. But as you said, it was coming from 3 or 4 fences back. It wasn't just at that fence.
Correct, and like you said, all of these lines, even that single Oxer from miles away, is all it connects. So that long distance to that Oxer had to put all those pieces back, which then ended up leaving him a little empty and lost after that Hermes Oxer.
Coming into our final few, about to come under the bridge. The jump-off qualifiers so far: Christian Kukuk of Germany, Carlos Sancarrera of Mexico, Katie Dynan. It is Tyser Irwin of Australia, Chris Pratt of Canada, Roberto Turan of Colombia, and Lily Keenan of the USA. And only 2 actually in the second half so far, after we saw 5 clears in the first half. Now, we're going into our final 5. We could go matchy and finish up 5 and 5 yet. But it's interesting that, as I said a little earlier, the tap's just turned off a little bit at the moment.
It has. I mean, and Christian laid it down. He made it look he made it look easy, but that's his specialty, giving everyone a little bit of a false reality of what this course actually is.
Well, this man is capable of doing that as well, is Richard Vogel now of Germany. And Richie, who's won class after class here in Wellington, brilliant rider. Now with Abul Chaka, NRW for the Pegasus Equestrian. Now really interesting, this horse has literally just arrived. Jumped earlier on this week, has been jumped with his partner Sophie Hinners, so it's not a complete new anomaly to him as well. Just looked fabulous in a class earlier on this week to get into this. The new European champion in Richie with a stallion by Alama Zed. Going to be very interesting to see how they fare tonight, but is in very capable hands, and as I say, went straight out of quarantine, straight into getting into action here.
Yeah, and it's only 9 years old, but plenty of experience, and obviously being ridden by Richie, who has plenty of experience, so very capable of putting in a clear round tonight, and definitely jumping to try and jump a clear round. The horse is jumping beautifully. He seems to be managing it well, and he's giving him a bit of space here to keep the rhythm, to get this 3 done, so that he can be waiting at the end like he does there. Jumps up beautifully to him, and then gives enough space in the 5. That was very well ridden. This horse is jumping very well tonight. Came in nice and straight, and I think gave him a really good ride into the triple. I mean, you couldn't ask for the horse to jump any better. Very efficient over to this oxer. And then here's our new favorite line of the second half of the course. So let's see how he can get this done.
Moves up
little
to
wide.
It.
Now he needs to get him back. I think he should be okay. But
He should be okay
I'm not going to
time-wise.
jinx it. Beautifully ridden.
Now Richard,
7.
brand new ride for him, shows his talent there, and it's going to be 81.49. Felt like an eternity for that to come through there, but I thought he was okay. Richie Vogel and Abul Chaka, like I say, absolutely brand new partnership landing in here, and jumped around a little earlier on this week. Looked beautiful there, and it's a lovely looking horse, isn't it?
Absolutely spectacular. I mean, it jumped picture perfect. You couldn't ask for it to have jumped any better tonight. So it'll be a great horse to watch in the jump off, to see how it comes in now at a little faster speed, how it reacts. And unfortunately now Christian's got some work to do at going first with him behind. So
Germany going against each other with the European champion against the Olympic champion, which just shows the quality of the fields here in Wellington once again. 4 left to go in the first round of this NetJets Grand Prix tonight. On to Cian O'Connor of Ireland, Pat Green's Canberra Blue PS. And like I say, this is a flip of the qualifying order from the Grand Prix, so he will have finished in 4th place in the Grand Prix qualifier back on Thursday. Pairing that went very well through Spain and Geneva. Here's Cian of Ireland, one of Ireland's very best Nations Cup riders as well. Won the World Cup in Ocala out here last year too, and rocketed up the rankings into the world's top 10 there. Now it's world number 22.
yeah, this horse jumped beautifully on Thursday in the WEF, I thought. Put in a great round. So hopefully it will transition nicely into tonight. I thought he rode that 3 very well. And managed to get that 5 done. Horse seems to just be a little on the muscle here. But if anyone can get him to take a breath, it's going to be Cian. It's too bad. It just looked like it fought him a little bit to that triple bar. It made him work. The horse had to work a little harder than he needed to, but that was a bit on the horse, just kind of fighting with Cian. And now Cian looks like he just wants to call it a night.
Yeah, he's going to call it a night, isn't he?
Start fresh next week.
Well, not quite coming out to where they would like, and so Cian O'Connor deciding to retire.
Yeah, here. Oh, maybe it lost.
They lost a boot. I'm not sure
yeah.
whether they lost a shoe as well in there or not. Yeah. Sure they did, but a little bit discombobulated coming in there.
Yeah, I mean, some nights we've seen it. You know, if it's the horse isn't in the same state of mind to want to get in there and do it, then I think he did a great job trying to get him to toe the line, and it just wasn't their night.
And there were plenty of other nights. As I say, they finished one in the qualifier earlier on this week. Going to be very, very interested to see the next of the hour. In fact, 3 for Ireland in our final 4. Shane Sweetnam, still Bertram Allen to come. Shane Sweetnam, the world number 12 with Spikos Farms at Rural Jura. Now a 9-year-old here by Presley Boy. Now I saw this one a few times last year, including jumping as in the young horse classes at Aachen. Jumped in Dublin as well. And finished one in Traverse City back in September too. This is again the next generation horse really for Shane.
Yes, and he's put his time into this one. This is one of my favorite ones of Shane at the moment. Has a beautiful way of going, a great expression, and a great energy, always taking into the jump. It looks like it's always having fun doing its job, which is obviously what you love to see when a horse is out there and having a lot of fun jumping around. Nicely done. I mean, this line is now just looks like it's a non-issue. I mean, yeah, we've had a few of those Oxers coming in number 5 that's come down, but a lot less than it did in the first half. Lucky rub into A there and jumped out absolutely beautifully.
And do you think that's because they've watched it so much in the previous round, they think they've got this worked out now, or it's just things just change?
Things just change. I think obviously then you overthink how you're going to ride that, so you're so hyper-focused on getting it done that you ride it even better, and then you sometimes maybe take the last line for granted. Yes. But I don't think he's taking this for granted at all tonight. He's ridden every single stride with intention.
Should be just enough, and it's going to be 81.19, so Shane Sweetnam books his place into the jump-off as well. Takes us up to 9 now, with Richie Vogel, of course, the most recent of those going into the jump-off lineup. And I can say I've been watching this horse more and more as a youngster coming through. It's just gets a little bit away with that one, but again, you've always got to have a little bit of luck in there too.
You have to, and then I thought he gave a great reaction after that rub and jumped C. Magnificent. And it just, look at that jump to the last as well. Has a great style and a great expression.
2 left to go in the first round of this NetJets Grand Prix. Now we're into the 9 clears. Lily Keenan, Rishi Fogel, Shane Sweetnam looking like a strong finish. Like I said a little earlier, Christian Kukuk might like setting the pace. It's going to have to be one heck of a pace that he sets, but he did it last year. Let's see. A little way to go yet until we get to that. Not too far though. Only 2 left in round 1. Ansgar Hodges Jr. now of the US, the 20-year-old for Gut Einhaus. This is Pixel K. And the horse that rode to win a Grand Prix here in week 11 last year, and finished very well in this very same Grand Prix. Well, actually next week's Grand Prix was top 5 last season too.
Yeah, he's on a roll. He has been riding so well. He's been putting in the work. The results obviously are showing the work that he's been putting in. I thought he rode the WEF on Thursday very, very well. And so far,
2, 3, 4. Yeah, lovely.
Riding that line just how it needed to be ridden. You know, I think it's interesting to have men and women competing against each other, because you see also he's so tall, and Christian and all these guys have so much length to them.
Yeah.
Using that leverage to their advantage. But as Niall said too, that can also be to a disadvantage to be that tall.
As you say, there's almost no perfect shape, size.
No, and that's what's so awesome about
yes.
this sport. And it's about your relationship and the match with the horse and the way you communicate. I thought he did a great job there, keeping the connection, even after that 4, obviously, to jump those 2 double clear. Beautiful, well ridden.
Good round there for Ansgar Hodges Jr., the 20-year-old, the youngest into that jump-off now, takes us into double digits. And it is clear round number 10 for Ansky there, and Pixel K follows up on a very good shot at the Grand Prix qualifier, finishing in 2nd. Carly, he absolutely got that spot on.
Yeah, he showed everyone how to ride that combination there. And that was very smooth, kept the impulsion, but on a much shorter stride, so the horse could jump up and around to A and have a little bit of thought and patience out at B, and then rode the 7 to finish nicely to stay inside the time. I thought that was very thoughtfully ridden.
2 big wins already this week. Bertram Allen, Bertram, a former 5-star winner here, of course. In fact, a string of those that he's won of Grand Prix here previously. Bertram with Carol Solak's Eddie Blue. And winners together in the qualifying. New ride for him, of course, stepping on to what's normally the ride of Dara Kenny. And the Irishman, highly accomplished as he is as a horseman, very swiftly builds up a good partnership.
Yeah, if he wins this tonight, I'd have to safely say that dinner's on Bertram.
Yes, if you can go through this week having won the Speed, the Grand Prix qualifier and the Grand Prix, I'd have to really go rifling through the record books to see who's done that.
I was going to say, he's not allowed to have alligator arms at the dinner table that on Sunday night.
I like that expression. Very short. I think we've got another expression back in Europe for that, but basically, yes.
Good. A little off center there, but manages to get it done. And not knowing this horse very well, I think he's doing a good job managing it, and has a great feel riding each step that the horse gives him. Beautifully ridden into that triple combination. Staying on it for the time. Good. Got a good canter there, but I don't think he let him get too far away from him, so this line shouldn't be too much work here in the 4. And I say that, and then he had to do a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's how he gets this last double of verticals.
Gives himself space and time to it.
Well ridden. Lets him do what he needs to jump that clear.
Bertram Allen going to get the job done. Could be a sweep, could be the full hat trick this week of taking all 3 big classes. We'll see. Bertram Allen on a roll with Eddie Blue, looking for yet another blue ribbon here at Wellington. Will they do it? Well, we're not going to have to wait too long to find out, because that is the last to go in the first round of this NetJets Grand Prix. Carly Anthony alongside me. Carly, that was impressive.
Without knowing this horse that well, I mean, my goodness, they did that very well. This 4-star got a little bit away, trusted him, trusted the scope, gave the release that he needed, then landed in balance and got this combination done just as much as he needed to. The horse twisting out of B to get that clear out. This is going to be one exciting jump off.
Looking forward to this, and so those the combinations going through to that jump off. Christian Kukuk will go first, as he did last year. This time with Just Be Gentle. Carlos Sancarero and H5 Origi Horta. Katie Dinan follows down to our full 11. Will Lily Keenan be fast enough with faster? The European champion Richard Vogel will start off with the Olympic champion, and Bertram Allen in fine form goes last in that jump off as well. Can he complete the big 3 this week? We'll find out after the break. We're back in a few minutes here from Wellington and the NetJets Grand Prix here tonight.
NetJets is more. And with NetJets, you get more. NetJets is more. And with NetJets, you get more. More exceptional service. Heightened safety standards. And anytime access to where you're needed most. Do more and miss less with NetJets.
When your passion deserves more, the standard is just the beginning. Step into a space built for riders. This covered riding arena was built with our clients' needs at its core. Every detail designed to support every moment in the saddle. At Coastal Steel Structures, we don't just build arenas, we build spaces that empower our equestrian community, helping you focus on your ride and your performance. Recharge, reset, and feel cared for at our Rider Recharge Lounge.
Back to Wellington International and building up towards our jump off. There's Peter Grant down there in the jacket. Welcome back to Wellington International, just going through the final stages. And Peter Grant, our course designer there down in the blue jacket, just putting the finishing touches to the course as he inspects what will be the final fence in the first round. An exciting lineup down there, and down amongst all the action is Ali.
Steward for this week. You know, we hear from all the riders, we see the horses, but what we don't see are the people working behind the scenes. So, Dan, can you just kind of give us a brief explanation of what your job entails?
Basically, we just have to, you know, be around to answer any questions and just make sure that everything on the backside just keeps moving forward. The riders have questions on the class and the start times and when they can ride, when they can't ride, what is going on with other classes. So things like that, more than anything.
And for a night class such as this, what then is your responsibility?
A lot, actually. More than anything, it's making sure that the riders and the horses have freedom to go and be completely prepared when they walk in that ring. So we have to keep the crowds away. We have to make sure the fences are correct. We have to make sure that all the equipment is correct, their tack is correct, things like that.
And when the horses walk out of the ring, I think everybody looks to the next horse and rider. But what don't we see? Where do they go next?
They come out of the ring and there's a check or an inspection, much like a NASCAR situation where there would be a check and inspection of the cars. We check the horses, make sure that nobody got hurt and there wasn't any injuries and then the equipment broke or anything like that.
And what is your favorite aspect of this job?
The horses, by far. It is by far the very best. Is that, you know, we're here to oversee the care, not oversee the care, their grooms are phenomenal, but just to oversee, you know, the well-being of the horse. The fair play, that's what we're here for.
Absolutely, and we appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much, Dan.
Thank you.
Back to you, Stephen.
And thank you to all the teams behind the scenes, as you don't see the hundreds of people that are involved in putting together events like this as well. But what's wonderful to see are the thousands of people that are in the stadium here again tonight as we really get into the meat of what is the 2026 Wellington International Winter Equestrian Festival. A course designing team putting finishing touches, overseeing there, not just Peter Grant, of course, but so many as well out there. It's a wonderful array of talent, and we are building up to the jump off. We're going to walk you through that in just a moment, and we'll be back after the break when we take you into the final stages of the NetJets Grand Prix here from Wellington.
Ethical treatment of the horses and the rules that USEF has put into place are so important for the longevity of our industry. It's important to me because I love the horse, number one. I'm passionate about him, but I also make a living at this. So it's sustaining our industry, it's protecting the horse, and it's something that is so important to everybody involved with the equine industry.
U.S. Equestrian. Thousands of equestrians have united
to watch, to learn, to experience, to compete.
In the pursuit of fairness, safety, welfare, and joy.
From the grassroots to the Olympic Games.
Each with personal goals, but all united together for the joy of horse sports.
Ride united. Ride with US Equestrian.
It's a lot to take care of something as cool as a horse. So 3-day eventing is like a triathlon for horses. I'm counting the rhythm of the horse. If I move my seat in a certain way, they know the signals. We do ask a lot of them physically. I love to stand my horses in ice water. It makes all the blood move while taking inflammation out.
Powders with labels that you need to translate. Supplements marketed by your old roommate. Wellness routines wrapped in biohack schemes. These are a few of my fictional names. When you're confused, when trends make you feel lost and afraid, just remember that fruits and vegetables work and the fiction will fade away.
And welcome back, building up to our jump off. These are the combinations qualifying, 11 of them to go against the clock. Christian Kukuk to set the pace, Bertram Allen to close it down, and in between is a high-class lineup that will really make a great menu for tonight's big serving of the NetJets Grand Prix. Lots to get our teeth into here as well, and we're going to take a look at the course too for the jump off of what's been laid out by Peter Grant and the team as the tractors put the finishing touches out there as well. And alongside me tonight, I'm delighted to say Niall Nasser has been with us, and also Carly Anthony remains. Carly, it has been a fascinating night of competition because it has been tests all over the place.
Yes, Peter did an exceptional job building a course tonight that asked plenty of questions. Rails came down everywhere. Surprisingly, number one was less of a factor than...
Whereas last Saturday night it was on the floor on a regular basis,
constantly.
But different courses, different nights.
Exactly, but I think he asked a lot of great questions. Didn't feel like he overfaced anybody. The horses jumped well. They learned from it. But the ones that rode their plan, executed it, are the ones we're going to see in the jump off now. And I can tell you, looking at the jump off we're about to witness, it's going to be a fast one, and it's going to be exciting, especially with the riders we have in the lineup.
And we'll talk through it in detail in just a moment. But the way Peter's designed this jump off as well, it is really a good galloping track. Let's take a look at it. Fidelity Investments bringing us our jump off here. But Carly, you've only got to look at this on paper to really see this is one to just get out there and put the foot on the accelerator.
Absolutely. I mean, already for 13A to 14, you can leave a stride out. But with that momentum, he has you turn quickly back around to a new fence on course, number 16. And right after that, you're going to put the full throttle down to that combination, give him time to jump out of C with a tight turn back to another new jump on course 17. But again, you're going to just keep the rhythm through this little S-bend, if you will, to number 4, and then a good, strong gallop to the wonderful air maze jump that's become our best friend tonight to finish.
And that just looks so open there.
He's definitely, giving you space to run, hopefully not get lost, and hopefully jump that last jump clear.
And looking at who's in there, well, last year's winner is Christian Kukuk, who goes first. Now, he was first to go last year as well with Checker. This time with Just Be Gentle. He'll be followed in there then by Carlos Hank Guerrero there of Mexico, and then to follow on too is another previous winner of this Grand Prix in Katie Dunn, and to take a shot with a newer ride. And looking forward to see how they get on. Chris Pratt has been so consistent so far this season as well with Ideal ES. I think they're going to have quite a task to go against the speed of those early big flyers there. And a man who's already announced his intention to really take a shot at this is Roberto Terran and DSP Callas. Taking us then to the halfway stage of that lineup. Faster is the name, faster is the horse for Lily Keenan going into the jump off as well. They're going to have to use all of that in there because they're up against new combination of Richie Vogel and Abul Shaka, but it looks really impressive. Now we're going to find out really what they've got. Shane Sweetenham in there with Rural Jura. We've got Ansgar Holchers Jr. with Pixel K is looking good into the final few, and finally Bertram Allen and Eddie Blue looking for a full hat-trick of wins this week, has been winning. Can they do it? We will see. 11 go into this jump-off, as you can see. Well represented for nations around the world. 3 for the United States of America. We've got Germany, we've got Australia, we've got Canada, and 2 representatives of Ireland in our final few as well. Building up nicely for a big season here, and this is to get one of the big ticks in the box of the Grand Prix of 2026, the NetJets Grand Prix here tonight in Wellington. $215,000 on the table for our 4-star Grand Prix. We ramp it up then over the next few weeks, and we will be back with the $500,000 Grand Prix that takes us through to the Rolex $1 million Grand Prix at the end of the season. But David Burton raises the gates, and away we go with Christian Kukuk as the first to go into this jump-off. The Olympic champion with the Beerbaum Stables, Just Be Gentle. And it is a mare by Tyson. Tyson, who was a well-known boxer as well. I think he might get a chance to land the first punch here, exactly as he did last time around, Carly. But I think, of all the things, I don't think they're going to be too gentle on the field with this starting round. They're going to go for it.
Yeah, he's going to set off with a pace. I'm hoping that he'll just carry throughout the rest of this jump-off, and he's going to make it look easy, but that's his specialty. He's going to make it look easy. If he can keep all the jumps up, it's going to be deceiving, and then that's where the rest of the field now have to catch him, and that's his strong suit. First or last, he's going to make it look effortless.
Okay, Christian Kukuk, the lost falls, just be gentle. Starting pace. Long run in the early part.
Tight turn.
Got a little bit stuck in the turn.
Yep, gets it done. 10 there, down to the double. 9. But efficient.
Now down to the last for Christian Kukuk, and just be gentle. This is going to be the target set. Is going to leave it up and going to get home in 41.96 for Christian. Will it be enough?
I think he left a little room.
Yeah, I think there's some meat on the bone.
A little room. Well, he was trying to be so tight back to that vertical that it just slowed him down a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see after watching him go if people stay out here a little bit, keeping the rhythm a little wider. He just shifting that apex back a little bit. He just made that turn a little bit too narrow on that front part, then that had to slow him down. So I think just in shifting not the tightness, but the shape of that circle might just
give you a little edge.
Yep.
Carlos Sanguerrero now of Mexico, the H5 Sport Horses, H5 Origi Horta for the young Mexican rider. Target set by Christian Kukuk now. The 25-year-old takes a shot at this. Also, Grand Prix wins behind him in Wellington already. Christian sets the pace, 41.96. That first line down there came down on 9.
Yes.
Can they play with that at all or not?
Well, he has on a little bit of a smaller strided horse. I think the key points in being fast in this jump off is just keeping the speed up, keeping that energy up as much as you can. So if you have to slow down anywhere, that's where somebody's going to get the advantage on you. So if he can do 8 here with a bigger stride, let's see. 8 gets it done. But he's got to keep this rhythm here a little wider, but kept the rhythm. So we'll see if that ends up working out for him, if he can keep all the jumps up at this speed. Again, Christian's deceiving. His horse is quite quick there. It did 8 there, 1 less than Christian. Same stride there. And 1 less to the last.
So puts them at a time that is quicker, 41.47, so just edges them out. It's just by the tiniest margin. Carlos Sanguerrero of Mexico goes into the lead with H5 Origi Horta. Again, I think we just could keep getting quicker and quicker here, Carly.
I agree, and where Niall thought in the first round to have a bigger stride was a little bit to your disadvantage, I'd say maybe tonight in the jump off, it's to your advantage. I would say Christian had a much smaller strided horse, but the speed was there, the energy, but because of that tight turn back where he lost his momentum, a horse with a bigger stride like Carlos's can make up for that by leaving strides out.
Take us to Casey Stein, another former winner of this Grand Prix as well. She won it with the fabulous Nougat de Valais as well. Now she rides Cordani PS, which is a newer ride to her, former ride of Andre Thiemer of Germany. And now, can she just squeak a little bit more out of this? And I don't think they're going to be taking big bites out of this time, are they? They're just going to be taking little nibbles out of it.
No, I think she's going to go out here and start to test what she's got, but I don't think she's going to go too crazy. Opting for the 9 here, and then keeping the rhythm through the turn. Same track that Carlos took, keeping that rhythm.
Just a little bit steadier from her, of course, as you said. It's a newer partnership to run at this, but again, get the double clear in the bag.
Absolutely, that's hard enough to do.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a great goal to have for tonight. Wow, beautifully ridden there, trusting the balance in the turn.
Not going to be too far away in the end, but is going to be steadier, but just going to be a few seconds adrift. But 45.70 for Katie Dynant and Cordani PS, but also gets, I'm sure, a big tick in the box in what this pair can do in the future now.
I'm so excited to keep watching. I think it's a great pair, and I think that having a double clear tonight is going to just add fuel to the fire, give them the confidence they need for the upcoming Grand Prix under the lights here.
So Katie Dynant going into third. Is Carlos Sancarero the lead so far at 41.47. Australia next, and Tyser Owen with Mike Smith's Hialeah B, her Olympic ride. Now for her, she can just go for this. They've got the mileage. Been and done it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It goes a little bit like Christian's horse.
Yes.
You know, very quick, typing, doesn't spend too much time in the air with the stride. With that speed, maybe necessarily isn't the biggest. However, I think if she can keep that momentum up and keep that rhythm through that first tight turn, she has a very good chance of beating Carlos's time. She doesn't necessarily need to get an 8 in the first line. She just needs to have a good momentum, and she needs to keep that through the turn. If she can get a tighter turn than Carlos into that first rollback, she should be in good shape. Again, opting for the 9. A little on the inside track from Carlos's here. Efficient enough down to that double. Gets the 8 where
Good
Christian
shot.
did 9.
Got to get this one right.
Trust
And
it.
she does.
Go down to the last. Go
Looking
get it.
good for Tyser Owen and Hialeah B. Leave it up at the MS fence at the final. And it's a really good shot. Is it going to be enough?
Oh,
41.28. It is. It is. Tyser Owen goes ahead of Carlos Sancarero. And she just, like I said, it's just little nibbles. Just squeezes a little bit more out of it, Carly.
I think that turn is going to be whether your winner. It's going to tell you right there.
Okay.
She was slightly inside the tracks of Carlos there when she did one more, 1 to 2. So I don't think the striding necessarily, but it's going to be that tight rollback turn.
But some lovely confident shots here as well.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. She just sent it to that plank.
Yeah. Lovely. So Tyser Owen delighted with her round. Now she's got to wait and see. She's got a good bit of time to go and bite the nails, unfortunately. Chris Pratt comes up next for Canada. Would take the High Roads Ideal ES. Now with Tyser setting the pace, 41.28. We've come down from Carlos's 41.47, from Christian Kukuk's 41.96. So we're all within that 41 bracket.
It's going to be, I think, a very tight result, 1, 2, and 3. This horse has a little bit of a bigger stride, so it'll be interesting to see if he opts to do 8, like Carlos did from 1 to 2. And then leave out as many strides as he can, using that big stride to his advantage. Already with a good canter, so I'm loving the energy so far. Carlos made that 8 look. I mean, he was getting it done,
Yes.
but
Go on.
oh,
Got
good
it.
job, committed to that. Nice through the double. 8. Oh my gosh, you better keep going at this point. Don't pull the reins.
Come on, Chris.
Trust it.
Leave it.
Go, come on.
Now go.
Full throttle. Keep going. Don't pull. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh! And is it going to be enough? 41.36. Oh, just the tiniest margin goes into second, Chris Pratt. Great try, though, from Chris. Tyser Owen keeps ahead at 41.28. I agree with you. What?
A for effort. I mean, with the elbow flapping and everything, you gotta give it to him. I mean, there was no stone left unturned to get that done. I mean, that turn there. Look at that commitment and that grit. Get it done. Oh my gosh. What? And the last jump, look at that. That was awesome. That was awesome.
Great round, Chris. Not quite, just by a tiny fraction. 41-36 from Chris Pratt. Tyser Irwin will stay in front, 41-28. She keeps the edge. Roberto Duran said he was going for this. The next few will start really firing the salvos at them as well.
Oh my gosh. Let's go. That got me ready to go.
Roberto Duran, DSP Callas, he's ready to go as well. Chris Pratt giving it best effort. Now, what can Roberto come up with?
All right, that 9, that first line, huh?
Yes.
That's an interesting one because I thought he had a great canter. And then I thought he did a good job. Then if he's going to get the 9, he stayed on the good rhythm without having to pull for it. Let's see what Roberto can do. Eight.
Oh, but it's gone.
You know, but this is what's happening. They're putting the pressure on, so you've got to risk it. You've got to give it all you can.
Oh, no, didn't happen there. But again, it goes back to a little okay, it hasn't quite worked out for Christian Kukuk this time, that actually, as much as we talk about going at the end, yes, there are various arguments for being an advantage, but also going first, you stay on your track, you're not pressured by what anyone else has done.
That's true. You go in there with no expectation of just going as fast as you can because you have nothing to compare it to.
Well, Roberto set out with good intentions, got the 8 up the first, but again, it just didn't quite work out, and from there, it is going to put them at 12 in the end, 44-68 for Roberto Duran and DSP Callas, but good try at it, but again, it wasn't coming from early on there. They tried to get this turn and didn't get the takeoff.
Well, they're putting on the pressure now, and it's starting to show. So, how many do we have left now?
We're up to our 7th of 11. So yes, Lily Keenan, faster. And that's not a command. That's the name of the horse.
Well, hopefully she does go faster.
Yeah.
That's what we want to see. Make a tight turn here.
I was going to say, have a little look at the turn there for Lily with this well-established 16-year-old in her string.
It just looks like they lose a little bit of push and momentum out of that turn. So then now it starts to become a risk factor, picking your point where you want to make up the speed, keep the speed, take your time. Because Chris there went to go keep the rhythm through the turn, and the horse just lost a little bit of momentum, and you really had to fight there. So maybe stay out an extra stroke.
20.
8. Yeah, these boys have got work to do.
Hate to break it to you guys.
Sorry.
You've got work to do.
But I love a horse that lives up to its name. I mean, he couldn't have gone much faster than that. And so effortless.
Lovely shot.
A big stride. I mean, it looks like she was almost going slow, but she was just letting that natural stride carry her through.
And the old adage of smooth is fast. Lovely smooth round from Lily Keenan going into the lead. Now it is gloves off as we go into our final few. We've got Rishi Fogel of Germany, we've got Shane Sweeten, we've got Ansgar Holters Jr. and Bertram Allen, of course, looming as last to go. Rishi Fogel then, and new ride for him in Abu Chaka NRW. I don't know. Is the easy answer to that. I've just put it on the table. I don't know.
I think we just wait and see.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. Unknown, but big enough stride. Could do the 8. Gets the 8 done. Now let's see how he does this turn. Similar line.
Stay on it.
No way. Similar line. I think he did one less than Lily. This is crazy. Just a little rushed out of that combination. That's too bad. That turn was exceptional. And then just taking his time to, I think, give him a good, efficient enough round to finish.
It's going to be very interesting to see where he sits for time in the end of it, because you say it just gives a little bit of a breather there. It still finishes on 41.52, so would have been faster. Christian would have been only ahead of Christian, actually, looking at that.
Yep.
But with a fence down there. But for them, first spin at this, that's pretty impressive.
I would say that's a good place to start.
It's a very good place to start. I think there's a song about that.
Yeah, I think just came in with a little bit of ground speed and just didn't take a breath where he needed to. So maybe a little bit of a greenness maybe on the partnership side or the horse's side there to just trust that, take a little breath before taking off at B with that ground speed coming in at A.
Final three, Shane Sweetnam and the Spy Coast Farms Rural Jura SCF for the 9-year-old. But again, he's done a number of the sort of 2- and 3-star Grand Prix with this horse now, and a lot of good young horse classes. I don't know how much he will ask here. And I don't expect you to try and answer the question either.
I don't know. I think if he's had that horse long enough, the horse also knows the way in which he wants to go, and I think he's going to give it a fair shot tonight. Well done in the 8, and he'll make a tight turn back here, but keep the momentum. A little slowed up there. But similar to Lily's horse with that big stride to use to his advantage, but I don't know if he's going to be quick enough to catch Lily.
Similar time landing out there in 20.
Still get the 8 done there. That turn back to number 3 was a little slower.
Shane Sweetnam hunting for the last.
I don't know.
It's going to be very, very, very close.
Keep kicking.
He's going for the nose over the line. Is it going to be enough? Not quite. Not quite. It's going to be 40.87, and so just a fraction behind it is Lily Keenan on 40.56. And so still leading Lily Keenan, Shane Sweetnam, Rural Jura. Very impressive though, Carly.
Good effort, honestly. I think the turn back there after that first line is maybe where she outbested him, but I mean, honestly, that was a great effort. The horse jumped spectacular, was with him all the way. You can't ask for a better jump off from that horse tonight, and I mean, I would be happy with that from my horse. Maybe not in the result, because we all want to win. But
we always want to win, but I mean,
that was pretty great.
2 left to go. Ansgar Hodges Jr. now, the youngest in this jump off at 20 years of age. Pixel K, week 11 Grand Prix winner last season as well, and already posting wins for the young talents. Trains with the fantastic René Tebel as well. Looking focused.
I think with a bigger strided horse now, after having seen Lily, you kind of have to do the strides she did if you want to be able to get close to the time.
Match it and go a fraction faster.
Yeah, I think on a bigger strided horse, getting 9 here is no longer an option. Too bad. He was getting down there, and the horse just looked like he listened a little too well, like he was thinking about that turn maybe before taking the jump. Whoa. Again, in the jump off coming out at B, if they come in with a little bit of ground speed at A, that's where you run the risk of just getting a little rushed out. Giving him a nice
he's giving a nice quiet shot down to the finish. And so is going to be time of 49.60, and for them inside that final time, but it is going to be 8 there for Ansgar Hodges Jr. And so Lily Keenan still in the lead, Shane Sweetnam second, Tyser Irwin in third at the moment, and 3 is the number, because can Bertram Allen win the 3 big classes here this week? Little look down here at Ansgar in his opening line here, Carly.
Yeah, the horse just looked like it waited for him a little bit, and just couldn't quite get there well enough in A, but he gave it a good effort, and at this point you've got to just risk it all to beat Lily. She really laid it down.
Going for the triple this week. He won the Grand Prix qualifier, he won the Friday speed. Could he win the Grand Prix as well? There's still a big class tomorrow yet, but this is the biggest mountain to climb of the week. A brand new ride for him, and catch ride for Bertram Allen. This is Carol Solak's Eddie Blue, going for their second blue ribbon of the week together if they could win the qualifier and the Grand Prix. Bertram is not going to give this away easily to Lily.
Gets the 8 done there.
Oh,
Good save, but can he get it? Can he get it done? Wow, that jump has been very
But that will be fractions now.
entertaining. Yeah, no, he can't touch the range once.
No, it's gone, so it's Lily Keenan's direction. Very good try, though, from Bertram Allen. Good use and show of the balance.
Yes, I mean, that was a great recovery, great support there to get that vertical done, and then just too bad when you make that good of a save, you hope you can have a little extra luck to get you home, but that didn't seem to be the case tonight.
Going to finish on the 4 there, 42-2-1 for Bertram Allen and Eddie Blue. Like I say, very new partnership for them as he picks up on the catch ride of Eddie Blue and has done amazing things. But it's 2 for 2 for Lily Keenan. She won last Saturday night as well. She wins this Saturday night again in the NetJets Grand Prix. Lily Keenan brings it home with faster. Shane Sweetenham, Rural Jura finishing in second place. Tyser Owen, a very good round for the Australian to finish in third. Chris Pratt in fourth place for Canada. Top 5 for Carlos Sancorero of Mexico, and sixth place for Christian Kukuk, who started things off. Carly, really interesting Grand Prix here for the NetJets Grand Prix, but success for Lily Keenan and faster.
Yeah, I guess dinner's on Lily now. Bertram's off the hook. I mean, and if we could give Chris Pratt a gold star for the most entertaining jump off, I mean, wow, that was some ride. That was a lot of fun to watch, I think. Peter Grant, hats off to you. What a course tonight. What a jump off. That's what it's all about.
Well, fantastic lineup. Those are our top 6 here tonight. Lily Keenan coming out on top ahead of Shane Sweetenham and Rural Jura. We're going to have a little break for a moment. We'll be back for the presentations and very well into our leading 6 in tonight's NetJets Grand Prix. But it is success for US rider Lily Keenan and faster.
Jets is more. And with NetJets, you get more. More exceptional service, heightened safety standards, and anytime access to where you're needed most. Do more and miss less with NetJets.
Florida Coast Equipment understands the equestrian way of life, and everything you introduce into that life should be uniquely created to perform within it. So, we created the Kubota Winner Circle Tractor Package, designed exclusively for riders who expect uncompromising power, precision, and performance. Because every seasoned equestrian knows it has to be a Kubota.
Well, it's readying for the presentation for this NetJets Grand Prix, but our top 2 of Shane Sweetenham against Lily Keenan. Carly Anstey alongside me. Carly, let's look at these 2.
I love a good head-to-head. This is my favorite. You could see exactly the places where Lily could win a little faster. Like I said, I think that turn is really what saved the time there. But you got to be careful, because then you see what happened to Bertram, and he lost a little bit of the balance. So you've got to really know your horse, know the balance, know where you can turn, and also then just have a little bit of trust keeping that going. See, he made up a little bit of stride there. Shane did back to that Oxer, which I thought was actually a little slower, but having this side-by-side sees it. And then Lily was just full throttle to the last. Kept the momentum up.
Pings it across. Not much between the 2 of them in the end, but Lily Keenan will be ahead 40.56 against that of Shane Sweetenham's 40.87. And 2 superb horses. Lily Keenan, brilliant performance there, and they're coming into the presentations for the Leading Lady Award as well. And thank you to Martha Jolly-Kerr and Dr. Stephen Norton, who will be presenting that tonight, the Leading Lady Rider. And it could be no one else, really, could it? But Lily Keenan, Lily, after finishing well into our classes earlier on this week. Tops, of course, the NetJets Grand Prix as well. They get points throughout. And Lily getting the Leading Lady Rider Award. And we'll head into the presentation proper as well. And welcoming out our presentation party, Melissa Dombro, VP of Sales for NetJets. Alongside Kana Kupchek of Marketing and Laura Southard, Senior Manager of Strategic Partnerships for NetJets as well, to make the set of presentation. In third there, Tyser Irwin and Hialita B, and we can say what a very good performance from the Australian as well.
Yeah, she gave it a very good effort.
Yeah.
Honestly, that mare jumped very well. Also, definitely deserved to be in there tonight. It's incredible to think that they were only first, second, third, and even fourth in fractions, in matter of hundreds of a second.
Just there finishing in second there for Shane Sweetnam and Rural Jura SEF. As you say, I know he'll be delighted with the horse's performance. He's going to be wanting that win. He had an amazing list of amazing second places last season as well in some brilliant Grand Prix, including Geneva. But just shows on the top of it his consistency, and her consistency as well. Was winning last week with one horse, winning this week with another. It is very well done to Lily Keenan and Faster, bringing home the NetJets Grand Prix here tonight. What an amazing start to the season she's had. Several wins under her belt already as they head off for their mainstream munches. Again, rewards for the horses over there too. But she is just looking so much ready to go in these big classes, isn't she? She's got the team absolutely on the nose.
I'd say in a championship year, she's
coming out strong.
She's ready to rumble. I'd say she's peaking when she needs to peak. This is an exciting championship year, and to have a team as strong as the U.S. does it's exciting. Gets everyone motivated and looking forward to the year ahead. And
Groom's Award also going to her groom as well. And very well done. Fantastic. Great team effort. And that kind of supported by Double H Farm as well. And I think we're going to be almost set for the victory gallop as well. But going to go to the national anthem first for Lily Keenan for the United States of America. Very happy, Lily Keenan, and rightly so, and is going to be our winner of the NetJets Grand Prix here tonight. Super success for her, continues her success in 2026 as well, and all set for the victory gallop to lead that away with Faster. Wonderful performance, and Carly Anthony being alongside me tonight. Carly, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that.
Oh, I had a blast. Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. And looking forward to many more Grand Prix over the nights here. We're going to be catching up with Lily as well in just a few moments' time, because she's going to be down with Ali as well to talk to us about her Grand Prix success tonight and a continued Grand Prix success here in Wellington as well. Toss of the ribbon out to the crowd, and we continue the build-up through the season as well. NetJets 4-star Grand Prix tonight. 2 weeks' time, we're back with the Fidelity 5-star Grand Prix as we continue to ramp things up here in Wellington this year. But Faster, living up to the name again. Always fun to have one horse with a top name that fits the bill. And, well, the bill could be going Lily's way after a good success tonight. Plenty of prize money going there to her, rightly deserved so. And we're looking forward to the celebrations as well. Like I say, we're going to catch up with Lily in a few moments' time with Ali as she's going to be heading on out. And under the tunnel, we just got the control back. And very keen for the victory gallop there, but as I say, just a few moments away from that. Busy week it's been here in Wellington with 5-star dressage as well, and we're going to be back in just a few moments' time. But as we take a little look at Lily's successes here in Wellington once again, and we are building up, as I say, to catching up with her in just a few moments' time. Join us after the break as we'll hear from Lily Keenan about her win in the NetJets Grand Prix here tonight. Back in a minute.
Listening is crucial. I mean, I think every step of the way you listen, because it has to be a partnership in that sense, that there is communication both ways.
There's so many good things that horses do for us. We owe it to them to treat them as we would anything else that we love and care for.
We are their biggest advocate. It's our responsibility to take care of and make sure that they're happy, healthy, so that they can live long, happy, healthy lives.
It is a complete privilege to work with horses. And it is our responsibility to protect them and make sure that their welfare is the #1 priority.
A bottle of Chrome Horse Society tequila is the sign that you are in the right place at the right time with the right people. It is tequila redefined, unapologetically modern, and always a ride to remember. This season,